Are now officially live.
Yay.
Hello.
Hi.
All right, start your best Millhouse voice for the rest of the session.
Yeah, I really want whenever we achieve great international fame, I want someone to make a super cut of all of my scared we've gone live reactions.
Someone should also make a supercut of all the technical difficulties that we have because they're rampant.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
It's
yeah.
true.
When Ten hopped in the chat today, it was just like loud whine, and I was like, "Oh no, are my headphones broken?"
No, it was just my mic. I have to unplug and replug it back in sometimes.
Is all okay. Spark, how are you doing?
So we had my IRL session last night. It went great. I really appreciate the help, you guys, because it saved me so much.
Nice.
We ended up having a
good.
4-hour session of just like carnival games and just them running around a carnival, and it was wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
That sounds like a blast.
Yeah, it was. The only downside is they have one of their NPC companion or one of their NPC friends is a half orc, and half orc voices hurt my throat. So it's like, or the deep rough voice like this all the time. Yeah, and they decided that they were going to drag him through the carnival also. So it was just me talking like that for 4 hours also. So my voice hurts.
I'm fairly sure they did it to just torment you.
Yeah. It's okay if Sybil develops like a smoker's cough, we'll understand.
She'll just start talking like Marge the whole time.
It's all that fireball smoke inhalation.
Oh God.
She's
I imagine-
changed.
Yeah, this is
She's just gonna be-
Sybil like 30 years from now, like working as a cranky old librarian.
Either that or I'm just going to turn her into Natsu from Fairy Tail.
Okay. Are we ready to begin the thing that we do?
Duh.
I believe so.
Everyone evacuated their bowels and got beverages and such.
Yep.
You bet.
Yep.
Also, I've noticed this new thing on the.
Yes,
Roll
there is a
20.
thing. There is a thing indeed.
Oh,
So
I should-
like I was
join the game.
that
Sorry.
might be useful. Yeah, like I was saying in the Discord, I had wanted to take some measures to make travel like to have more things to do, other than be like, and you travel more, and then you travel more.
Yeah.
So I've just like made this like little overlay where we can keep track of like who's ever doing what. I have these little cards to show like what the weather is and the modifications they make, any like travel checks. You'll see right now it shows that the train is like, well, if you were to leave the city, you're still currently in the city, but if you were for some reason to leave the city, you'd be traveling through farmland initially, so therefore the DC is very low, rather non-consequential to be honest. But if you perhaps are traveling through some mountains per se, the DC would go up, and we'll get to all this when we get to it, of course.
I've also noticed that Rotten has horrible at all of these.
Yeah, there are some the checks are certainly of a certain variety, so
Yeah.
it
The
lists
best he
certain
has
players.
is survival at 3.
Right, and like so the only one that is like absolutely strictly necessary is the guide. You know, you have to have someone leading you to where you're gonna go, but all the others are quite optional. So
Well,
if no
except
one's to
maybe
fill them.
food.
Well, so yeah, the little cook option that is also optional, because I assume rations will cover like your basic food need. But if you want to get like the bonuses for cooking a hearty meal, then someone can perhaps do that.
Hey, Corona, welcome to the chat.
I can just imagine Ragna hunting with lightning.
Yeah,
We have-
that'd be
Also,
interesting.
Do we have
haven't told
time
my
for?
name
I
yet.
need to. I left the bag that has all my books and stuff in my car. Can I run out to it real quick? It won't take 10 seconds.
Denied. You're stuck in your chair.
Oh.
Yeah. Of course.
We'd have
Joke's
to
on you.
undo all the straps.
Oh God.
Tell the people out there what we're really into, Bastion.
Not Bastion for much longer.
The,
Oh yeah.
the B in BDSM stands
Yeah.
for Bastion.
Yes. That's hilarious.
Well, the S is Sybil. I
Ooh.
don't see where Ragna and Jerry fit in.
I know the first letter of my next character, at least.
Okay.
Ooh.
Things went downhill when Spark leaves us onto our own devices.
Oh my god. I'm so happy that Spark is away while we're talking about this and gets to come back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Just some low key sexual harassment. It's fine.
Yeah.
Low key? What?
Hey,
Nothing.
nothing at all.
Something.
Definitely nothing involving BDSM.
And
Oh.
one or more characters in this.
Oh no. Sybil is pure. How dare you?
That's
So
why.
it's maybe, and only in the alternate universe fanfic.
Pure only dictates sub to me.
I
Funny.
wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not sure if Bastion has it in him to be a dom though.
Yeah, I don't know. Too much sneezing, I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus-
being 4'9" also doesn't help.
Plus, Daddy is kind of a trigger for him.
Oh God. Bastion just
So,
starts
hello to all
crying.
the people who are watching.
Yeah, how's that? You guys working on that official Wizard sponsorship? How's that going?
Let's just not talk trash about any official wizard books.
Man, that player's handbook sure sucks. I mean, it's literally my holy Bible, so whatever. Okay. Okay. So we were all ready before, but now Spark is even more ready.
Quite.
Yep.
Ready is a general term, but I am prepared at some extent.
Did someone say question? No?
Nope.
Okay.
I don't think
So, mon friendos, when last we left our heroes, most of you had just become dank nobles. You, having driven Lord Krenel and his accomplice Carmen de la Guerta from the echelons, the upper echelons of the Valdore nobility, you, with the help of the Lady of Love and her generosity, have been able to sweep in and take over Krenel's mantle of nobility. You have moved in to your new estate, which you have called the House of the Vagrant Wind, in honor of Bastion's parents' old adventuring company. Last time we did a bunch of just sort of like general RP stuff, getting affairs in order. Bastion spoke to an old friend an old companion of his mother and father's, Nils Kappa, who revealed some things. But the session largely centered around this choice of whether or not to accept various parts of the Lady of Love's deal. With everything being squared away, do you accept this?
Couldn't help a DNR joke.
That's good. That's good. Yeah.
Dungeons
Man,
and Randomness. Go listen to it. Chat.
Hashtag Draconis under the bed forever. God, where was I?
I'm so sorry.
With Draconis under the bed. Obviously.
Yeah, that's where I was. Yeah. Right. There were many different motivations for taking the lady's offer. Sybil and Jerry both wanting to do to correct past wrongs and do right in the world, accept her offer on this sort of justification that this increased power will help them do good. Bastion takes a bit of a different road, seeing this house and like new mantle of responsibility as a way to settle down and perhaps pursue his ambitions in a less life-threatening way. Rachna, however, Rachna, you agreed to one of the facets. Was it the nobility?
Nope. It was
No.
house.
The house, yes, thank you. Right, so Rachna, putting his personal freedom above all else, chose obviously that house because he doesn't want a sweet house, but is neither noble nor working for the Lady of Love, which is totally, I think, a cool decision. However, at the end of last session, the party received a grievous warning. An injured monk from Jerry's old abbey, I guess, like came across the party searching for Jerry in a wounded state, telling him that someone, a bishop from the Church of Prios, Bishop Evan Raja, had come to Jerry's old abbey, the Tintern Abbey, with a host of knights, taking it over, and this monk tells tales of like dark shit going on. Not to mention the sickness of Father Pachomius and all this badness. This monk, Initiate Favier, implored Jerry to go and investigate. We also learned that Rachna has a history with this Bishop Evan Raja, a dark and vengeance-filled history. So we'll pick up today. I think people said they want to go back to the house and sort of like do some final preparations before you left for Tintern Abbey. So let's pick up there. What's kind of going on?
If I remember, we all went back to kind of, settle in for the night, give the guy a chance to rest, and take off in the morning.
That's what I remember too.
Yep, I'm waiting on word for the
Yep.
to see if Lady Sky would respond. If not, then if not by the morning, we'd leave. I think that's right.
Cool. So in the missive you sent to Lady Sky, your prospective captain of the guard of your new house, how did you like approach her about it? Like what did you write?
Oh God. I would have. Well, first it would have been a request for a meeting, both to make amends and to put any questions to rest. It would have been more for a request for a meeting and possible and fruitful job opportunity to do some good in the city.
Cool. Was it one of these things where you asked like at your earliest convenience, or did you specify a time?
I assume Sybil probably would have written it all out after we made these plans to leave in the morning. So I would have specified it. If we were leaving, or at least 3 of our 4 companions are leaving in the morning. If you're not able to make it beforehand, Bastion is staying behind, and I'm more than positive he'd be willing to meet with you.
Cool. So I think that let's just roll some Dizzy dice. So let's see. There's probably, let's say, like a 40% chance that she can be available this eve. So from 61 to 100, she is available this evening and will come and be interviewed. She doesn't show before you leave.
All right. I mean, it's to be expected. It was short notice. Also, like, maybe deep down, Sybil's like, she might hate us.
Bastion would be sending out a letter to the Blackstone estate, asking for them to please escort Marka and Nils up to the house, because I remember us discussing also having them on staff.
Cool.
Question, do we need like a house mage or anything? Because, I mean, we could try hiring the seer.
I mean, need is a particular word. Like, do you want a house mage?
I mean, well, Sybil's only met the woman once, but I was just throwing it out there. I mean, I'd offer. I'd kind of throw the idea out around and be like, we can use with the house mage help. It could also help you with research and everything. And she's kind of throwing the idea, I guess, at Bastion, because he's going to be the one dealing with all the affairs when we leave.
Bastion thinks about it, and I imagine this is probably this might be after he sends off the first letter, because that's like one of the very first things he would have done. He would probably send a second letter down to the estate being like, feel free to come up and visit at any time, and also please feel free to be the seer. We might have something I want to discuss, or we might have something to discuss. Keep it vague, but open,
We need to build friendships with the equally powerful houses.
Yeah. I imagine that the bulk of the evening would probably be spent kind of like, looking over the entire house and kind of divvying up where things would be, like, who gets what room, and like, maybe we can use this office for this thing or whatever.
Finding all the random cherubs and destroying them.
No, that's a celebration when we get back. I thought we had determined.
Right.
Yeah, we gotta gather them into the backyard first.
Yeah. By the way, has anyone informed the Lady of Love about the snakes?
Huh. No? I could do it. I mean,
because that might be a good thing to do, because otherwise she might not know, hey, look, watch out for snakes.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. So at some point, Sybil would do that. She would make her way over to the lady's estate, use her connections to get in, and request an audience. And if given, she would basically fill in the lady on all of the things we're doing and plan on doing, and essentially giving her a heads up that we're about to be leaving out of town for a bit. Also letting her know about the snake and the suspicion of what De La Huerta is.
Cool. Yeah. She thanks you for letting her know about all of those things. She just like smiles, sort of like with a sigh. It's like, I just give you a house and you immediately leave. It's just like great. But she's you're leaving Bastion in charge, so she she respects that. And she thinks the snakes and the whole Yuan Ti situation definitely something to keep an eye on, and she will do her best to sort of round up any information about that for you for when you return.
Well, I mean, if you need us before then, we have this, and she'll kind of point up at the flower tied up in her hair, in her hat. So, there's one more thing that Sybil wants to do. I do want to research anything on either the mountains or essentially the abbeys in general. Anything like, because you said they had taken over the tunnels beneath them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I want to look into anything to do with below the abbey or any like old legends about the abbey or anything like that's rumored about the abbey.
Cool. Yeah, you give me either history or investigation, whichever you prefer.
Would that be at the House of the Vagrant Wind?
It would be kind of all over. She is
Sort of
sourcing herself everywhere.
Yeah, Sybil makes her usual rounds. She's got her own store. She has access to the Lady of Love's Bardic College libraries. She has lots of places in the city where she can run around with I imagine with the toast in her mouth, running with a bag of books, very
absolutely.
oh my god, I'm late for class, 90s Sailor Moon anime kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, does she crash into anyone?
Oh yeah, I'm sure several times a day she has to crash into someone and apologizes, but
someone has a tendency to walk or run and read, so that's not unheard of.
Yeah. Dark, tall, handsome men who they have an antagonistic relationship by day, but are secret lovers by night.
But see, does he wear a tuxedo?
He does, and also something that obscures his face.
So some sort of mask, almost like a
yes, they call him
tuxedo mask.
No, much more like a mask tuxedo.
Oh,
yeah, very different, different and legally distinct.
TM.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So she finds out quite a bit of information. This stuff is actually pretty widely available, I think, just because the church is a big deal. So you learn that every abbey is dedicated to a different patron saint. And therefore, you know that Tintern Abbey, as your records say, and also as Jerry has said before, is dedicated to Saint Boron. He is the patron saint of sleep, time, and dreams. There are sort of the religious stories around Saint Boron center about him having this great calling by the Lord Prios to enter a great sleep and search for meaning. And it is said that Saint Boron sleeps even to this day, still dreaming and searching for some great enlightenment that Prios has sent. However, it's kind of myth, so like no one like knows where that is. The tomb of Saint Boran is a rather like mythical kind of thing. But specifically about Tintern Abbey, the tunnels, you find some old like monastic records that state that typically the tunnels are used to grow fungus. The monks there subsist on the fungus that they grow in the tunnels under their abbey. There's also a lot of like obscure legends about Mount Agno. It has been recorded in the past to be a dangerous place. Of course, all manner of beasts and such are said to lurk within the crags and caves of the mountains. Manticores, gnolls, giants, and cyclops among the beasts. Though of late, in the last several years, reports of like monster activity have been fairly low. Though, of course, you know, people still die and stuff. There's always like rumors of like ancient, like forgotten, you know, passages and temples, whatnot, hidden in the you know, caves but below the mountain, treasure-filled vaults left undiscovered for centuries. But many such foolish people who go looking for such things never return. Is there anything other specific you're interested in learning?
I mean, nothing that I probably could figure out. Like, do the tunnels that run under the Tintern Abbey, they just essentially like run under the area, or do they continue on? Do they lead anywhere, or is it just a?
So I don't think the records they don't say, but I'm sure if you ask Jerry, he would be able to tell you that, yeah, totally. There's a whole network of caverns under the mountains, and the monks have to be fairly careful to not wander too deep into the darkness, lest they be swallowed by the nightmares that lay within.
All right. Yeah, and then she absolutely would cross-reference everything she finds with Jerry to make sure that everything lines up and that her sources are accurate enough. And then anything new that Jerry wouldn't know, she would share. Like, because she wants everyone to walk into this knowing what they're getting into, at least have a better idea. And so she would share it with everyone.
Yeah, Jerry, is there anything that like you want to brief the party on?
I think essentially, Jerry would have been taking care of Favier, and sort of making sure like he was taken care of, and almost like getting him to bed and like getting him asleep, and then he would sort of ignore everything else until after that. But I imagine like when he's done with sort of the process of trying to get him sort of healed up and to bed, that's when Sybil might be coming back from where she was out. And so Sybil comes in and starts to talk about Tintern Abbey, and you'll see Jerry just sort of get a wistful look on his face, and he'll just sort of describe it in his own terms. You know, it's at the sort of the top. The abbey itself is at the top of sort of a rocky outcropping, with a river flowing down a canyon on one side of it. And it's not the easiest place in the world to get to. So Sybil's gonna have to stretch out her legs a bit to get up this mountain. And it'll sort of like, Sybil, you ready to get moving? I mean, this is different than the city life. What we're doing next here.
I mean, well,
Hey, Commander.
I think I've got everything. At least
You're the real hero here.
packed in a travel bag, but. I mean, we can take the carriage and any horses. We can take it at least to the base of the mountain. I don't plan on riding the carriage up the mountain anyways. You know how much a wagon wheel is to repair? I don't want to deal with that.
And Jerry will just smile and nod, and he'll say next, where it'll be nice to see the Abbey again, but I'm really concerned. Father Pacomius, he's a good man. I really hope. I'm looking forward to getting moving first thing in the morning.
I am too, but I feel selfish, kind of, because I'm excited to go on this adventure, but I also know it's a serious thing. But like I said earlier, if we let everything get grim, then life begins to get grim, and that's just no fun.
And Jerry will just say, everything's a balance, Sybil. You can't. Sometimes it's not realistic to go too far one way or the other. It's good to keep the steady path.
I mean, yeah, you're right, but I don't know. Optimism has always been a gift of mine, so I'll try to maybe calm it down. I don't want to come across as heartless or anything. I understand it. I know this is a big deal, and I don't know. If I can make someone laugh when they don't feel like it, it helps with everything.
So Sybil, I appreciate you doing some research. I mean, it pretty much what you found seems to match, but you mentioned the caverns down below, and so my question, Aaron, for you would be: is there anything in particular I remember about the caverns other than sort of like growing things and sort of fungus farms down there?
Yeah. So I think that, of course, there's always, as I said, like the danger of like terrible things coming up from below. But I think such incursions are rare, especially given how high up you are. The Abbey is. I think, of course, as well, there are monks in the past, I'm sure, have explored further into the tunnels than maybe they were explicitly cautioned to. And I think, Jerry, that there's a bunch of like rumors around the Abbey of like strange, like lost, I guess, facilities, like temples and stuff, hidden sort of deep under the Abbey. It's all hearsay, of course. Young initiates who come back, wide-eyed, scared, half-witless of something they saw in the blackness below. Speaking of, like, ooh, I saw like a strange, like sealed door, like in the caverns, and of course, no one can find it again because the tunnels are so twisting. But yeah, there's a bunch of weird rumors and stuff like that, I'm sure.
Jerry would definitely share that with Sybil. And is Rachna there as well?
I think he would be.
Jerry would turn to Rachna and just say, where we're going, I know the way, but you're the one that knows the person. Is there anything you can share about this Evan Raja that might help us understand who it is we're going to have a discussion with?
He's conceited. He believes himself to be of the same bloodline of Saint Raja. And he will endlessly drone on about it.
I mean, to be fair, most nobles talk about their bloodline, but most nobles don't, take over a town and starve out its citizens and torture orphans.
No nod.
And notice I said most. I'm sure there are some evil ones.
Bastion just steeples his fingers menacingly.
But don't worry, our fair Bastion would never be that. Bastion is a lich at the end of the campaign.
Yeah.
At the end.
And honestly, Bastion can steeple his fingers more menacingly than most.
Oh, God. Yeah.
That's right. I always forget about that until I remember.
That's how most things work. You forget about them until you remember them.
Yeah, that sentence got away from me halfway through.
Yep.
That is this campaign's life needs things to live.
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
And Jerry will just say, you know what, you know, Saint Raja and Aaron, what was Saint Raja the patron saint of? I know it's in the note.
Yeah, Saint Raja is the patron saint of love, wine, and poetry. Needless to say, Saint Raja is very popular down in the Duchy of Arbonne.
What does someone connected with the patron saint of love and partying and poetry have anything to do with wanting to go to St. Boron? The place is out of the way for a reason. It's a contemplative place. It's not meant for outsiders.
Well, maybe it was one of those things that is the forbidden fruit, and I mean, don't get me. I mean, it's not the right thing, but it's that moment. Like, if you put something on a top shelf to a child that they can't reach, they're going to climb everything they can to get to it, right? So maybe it's just like that, or I mean, I'd like to think it's like that, but the way things have been going, I bet there's a deeper reason.
We will know when we get there and beat it out of him.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. You can beat it out of him. I'm good at a distance, not so much up close.
Okay. Is there any other preparations that you guys want to take this evening before the morning? I would personally suggest, just because it hasn't come up yet, really in the campaign, that some rations be acquired.
How much are rations? Are they just as in book?
Yeah, I believe rations are 5 silver per day.
What
Okay.
time? What time? Well, are we just gonna skip to when we leave town, or are we just because?
I mean, like, basically, yeah. So let's increase the window from this evening to any time before you leave.
Okay, so before we leave, I want to find a place to sell the 5 of the 9 pistols that I have.
Cool.
I don't know how much or where I would do that, but
I think there's totally, especially up in the chateaus, there's definitely like a really like high quality like gunsmith. A rare occupation in the city, but one definitely exists.
okay. Yeah, I want to sell 5 of the 9 I had, and keep the other 4.
Cool. Buddy will give you probably, let's say, 50 gold per pistol.
Okay, so I said 5, so that'll be 250, right?
Yep.
Okay, so cool. I have 700 gold now. And then I want to pick up some Okay, I want to pick up bread, like rations, meat, and everything, and I want to get a small keg of, or small, like a few bottles of wine, and just kind of tuck them in my bag, and then I want to buy some water also.
Cool. I only asked because we're in Valdore, but what like bracket of wine do you want to buy?
Yo, I mean, this is a road trip wine. This is high quality stuff.
Okay, cool. I also ask because I think as well in Valdore, being a new noble such as you are, people would gossip endlessly if they saw you buying like cheap wine.
I mean, yeah, but also,
Yeah.
Sybil, a spoiler, Sybil didn't grow up poor, so she knows at least it's like, all right, this is a good wine, and this is top shelf wine for us at the time. Now that we're nobles, we're like, I'm buying essentially bottom shelf noble wine, but it's still the toppest of top shelves for middle class.
Cool. So I think like however many bottles of wine, it'd be like 15 gold each.
So I would have got 3 bottles of wine, so that's 45. So 700 minus 45 is math, 655.
Also, as far as we know, no one but Sybil on this journey drinks. So they're all for Sybil.
I mean, okay, that's fine. She did tuck them in her bag. She wasn't going to say nothing. But
Yeah, it's about a 3-day journey to the Abbey of Saint Raja at the base of the mountain. So it's a bottle a day, and then you can stock back up at the Abbey of Saint Raja. Like it'll be great.
I mean,
Jerry's gonna buy a donkey.
Okay.
Because we're going into the mountains, and I'll be able to get some extra like food for the party, just in case we get like sidetracked or stuck out in the wilderness.
Cool.
Rocknose gonna go out and get 20 days of rations and +1 shield if that is still available.
So I do not think we never really talked about buying magic items. I forget. Did I ever explicitly say that like a +1 shield was available to buy?
no,
As far as I know.
it came
Okay.
out of the thing. I just assumed that like the +1s were, yeah.
Right. So you can't really buy magic items. I think at least in this campaign.
Okay.
Yeah. So at the beginning, when I was like spend gold for magic items, that was more just like allocate your points and like
Okay.
get some magic items that you have accumulated.
All right. Got it.
Yeah.
And does that mean that there are magic items that pop up sometimes, or are we just astoundingly lucky to have gotten some from the small pool of magic items that exist?
Yeah, so like the way I like the flavor to be of my games. It's like, so I think you could theoretically buy a magic item, but there are rules in the player's handbook for using your downtime to like find a buyer and stuff. Because I think they're generally pretty rare and like valuable. Like you have to like go into dungeons and stuff like to find magic items.
Okay.
People don't
I know,
like create them per se.
I know the way
Okay.
I run it, and obviously this is not your way. The way I do it is like the +1s and everything. You can usually get from like shops, but from the like magic shops and stuff in town. But then there's like the super fancy ones that have the super high-end enchantments are usually dungeon crawling and stuff like that. That's always how I've ran it, and like I totally like the idea that even the +1 weapons, these weapons that are just slightly better than the ones you got, no, you got to go into the dungeon for that too. I love that. That's funny.
Yeah, because I think like, especially in 5th edition, like even a +1 sword is still quite valuable, even at
Yeah.
higher levels. So, cool.
Okay. So then, I just get 20 days of rations.
Nice.
I should probably do that too. How much are rations and?
5 silver each. Yeah. So Jerry, the donkey is 8 gold.
Cool. And
According
then
to-
I basically wanted to get things ready for like an expedition. That was my goal.
Oh no.
So I have some. So the donkeys are going to be loaded up with a bunch of stuff, and I think this is all within 250 gold. I can double check and add it up as we go through though.
Yeah. So we'll just take a hot second here. I'll just do it through roll 20. Saddlebags.
So
Nice.
I drag and drop a single ration into my inventory, and it put me
Lots of
over
rations.
carrying capacity.
Oh, no.
I am encumbered from a single ration.
60 rations.
How many books are you carrying?
She has a lot of stuff like in her backpack. Which, Brandon, most of it I assume is going to be in her carriage, and then whenever they get off, she's going to take one of her horses.
There's fireworks going off in the background here. Hashtag Canada Day.
My one friend's wife, she is a non-celebrationist. So when it comes to July 4th, I was like, "Hey, you guys want to go see some fireworks next week?" And he's like, "Well, I would, but she's a non-celebrationist, so I can't."
I don't think I've heard of that before. Is that real?
I think she's a college professor, and I think she teaches. I think the U.S. like she's like an expert in the dark history of the United States. I think. I think it's that kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah, I can kind of understand that then.
So I think we're gonna get together and smoke some weed instead, probably.
I
mean,
respect
that's-
that.
Oh, okay then.
Oh,
Different
okay. You can do that in Canada now.
Yeah, truth.
Well, happy
You guys
birthday
are
to
way
America's hat.
Oh, thanks.
Well,
keep your head
smoke just
warm.
upward.
5 water skins. It's 1 gold. Shovel. It's 2. A python. God.
Snap! I have a diplomat's pack. I have a scholar's pack. I have cartographer's tool. I have a tinkerer's. I have tinkerer's tool. This is right on character where she has all this stuff she'll never need, but then it's like she can't even carry 1 thing of rations. I also bought 10, so it's like So I imagine she's walking out of the store and just like.
This just kind of crawling.
I just imagine the Elder Scrolls Oblivion just like, all right, and this will be everything. Yep. Pick up the ration from the counter, and it's just standing there, and it's just like, are you gonna leave? It's just like, I can't.
I can't move yet.
And then you go to drop a steel sword that you stole earlier in the morning in the day, and you're in a small area and you don't have room for it, so you're just like, oh no. So you just drop all of your ingredients.
Start shoveling
And then-
cheese wheels into your face.
And then you accidentally
That's
drop
right.
something sharp and it lands on them, and suddenly you have the guard after you.
3 grappling hooks.
You still can't move.
Stop right there, criminal.
Criminal
I
scum.
can't move.
I went on a citywide chase the other day in Oblivion because of 5 gold, because I had a whole bunch of stolen stuff on me, and I resisted arrest in the middle of the barracks because I was. And I was like, oh no, and just ran as fast as I could. I hid in the graveyard, and as I was hiding in the graveyard, I was just like, they can't see me. And like 4 guards ran over and just cornered me and just ended me.
Oof.
I was like, I was sitting-
Do you know why Oblivion guards are my favorite? Have you ever been arrested at the bottom of a lake? Because I have.
No, that's awesome.
No
They
one.
fucking like do their duty.
No one is more
Oblivion
dedicated
guard-
to their job than an Oblivion guard.
Oblivion guards are also scary. Like in Skyrim, I was like, oh, okay, I can just murder everyone here. But in like Oblivion, especially since it takes so long to level up, they are a threat for a long time.
Oh yeah, and guards will continue to outscale you until you're like level like 20 something.
Aaron, why are you rolling so many dice?
I'm just tallying Jerry's shopping list here.
Okay,
so
so we're ready for an expedition now. I'll take care of all the practical things that.
Yeah. Well, that's nothing but anything but getting to Evans and killing him.
I mean, do you need paper? Do you need paper? Do you need a chest? Do you need what else is in my diplomat's pack? Do you need a vial of perfume, 2 flasks of oil, a set of fine clothes?
You have to smell good when you're starving in the mountains.
I mean, yeah.
Just a little spoiler. You may want the vial of perfume for my new character.
Oh no.
And then there's my character, Dungeoneer's pack, rations.
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Walking travels light. Yeah, so like Jerry shows up in the morning with this like mule outfitted to like go excavate for like 6 months in the wilderness.
I assume, so I can get away with doing this. I assume Sybil would have went down and gotten one of her Clydesdale horses and kind of used it as a pack mule because she can't carry all of this stuff currently.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Saddlebags. Totally. That way I can get them and not have to, literally be like Oblivion standing in the middle of the street because I can't move. It's like, someone please help me.
Oh yeah.
This road that comes over and picks her up.
Yeah, it's not like you suddenly like get rooted in place, right? I think your movement's reduced by like 10 feet or something. So it's that thing where you're just like, carrying a bunch of shopping bags and you eventually get it all to your wagon and like throw it down.
And then we need a water skin, right? Also. So.
Yeah, I think Jerry bought.
I got like 5 of those.
5 water skins.
And it's funny. I was watching Lawrence of Arabia today, and so I just imagine he's from like Lawrence of Arabia, like going through like the wilderness.
Yeah, it equips a turban even though it doesn't need to.
Sybil has a mobile library and works and like office, and then you guys are all like have these heavy duty like traveling cloaks and everything. It's just, boy, this is a ragtag team.
Okay. Wunderbar.
Yeah, one last thing before you guys finally head out of town.
Yes.
I'm assuming there would be like, a big like rally before finally departing the house where, all of you would be in one place and be like, all right, let's set out. Bastion would like walk up and be like, just 1 minute, guys, and he would walk up and give each of you a hug, and to Jerry he would say, don't worry, the house is in good hands. Then he would like go over to Rachna, give him a hug, and say, keep them safe, I know you can. And he would then walk up to Elle, give her a hug, and then say, I expect to get a lot more practice in when you get back. And then he would lean up and give her a kiss on the cheek. And then you would take a couple steps back.
Yep, nope, that's... She would stammer over her words, and you kind of look down and you realize she had a armful of like old like travel logs and everything. And she like starts trying to fumble with them for a second. Okay, so House of the Vagrant. No, the Vagrant. These are about your parents' adventuring party. It was everything I could find. I did it shortly after you mentioned the name. This it's not a lot, but it's something. And all those like logs and stuff that you told me I'd found on the House of the Vagrant Wind, Aaron, I'm gonna turn them over to Bastion.
Cool.
Bastion's eyes would go wide, and he would just stammer out a little bit. Thank you. It means a lot to me. And he'll smile. And
no, honestly, I really like looking into things when I learn stuff, and it seemed important to you, so I mean, I already know. Well, I learned everything I could out of these, so here, and she'll give you the rest of the stuff.
And and then Bastion would, see you guys off, and just kind of holding the documents in one arm and waving to you with the other.
Jerry would wave goodbye and just say, "We'll be on the lookout. If we find anything about your mom or dad, we'll bring it back for you."
Ragnar will nod. Also, I just noticed a slight problem. Under travel check, it says con athletics or whiz athletics.
Yeah.
I don't think wisdom is involved with athletics, nor con.
So, in 5e, there is a rule set, or there's a mechanic where you are proficient with the ability, and then, you are either proficient or not with the ability, and then the ability check is the stat that is specified, or plus the proficiency, or flat. So any check can be any stat. It's just that most commonly they are associated with the ones on your character sheet.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, so I thought about making it strength athletics because that was the most common usage, but I think it makes more sense to simulate a whole day's worth of travel to make a con athletics check, as your stamina over the day, as opposed to your brute strength.
Okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I just want to say that it's one of my favorite mechanics in 5e, and it is criminally underused, so I love to see it here.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's whenever I get a chance. I love mixing
I have never seen it before.
So, Trig, Bastion decided he was going to keep the room.
Yes, he did, for now, at least.
Well, he needs some way to get to his diplomatic missions.
Diplomatic community.
Yeah, we have a spin-off series, Bastion's Delivery Service.
I mean, I even got the hat and everything.
The height profile. He also fits the height profile.
It's true.
Although, who would have a bike that can fly? Hey, Sybil, weren't you tinkering?
I will eventually. I want to get proficient with Tinkerer's tools first.
Okay.
Yeah, where's E.T. when you need him?
I mean, I can literally cast the fly spell if I needed to.
But on the bike, I think it only targets creatures.
All I'm hearing is that we need to make the bike also sentient. Warforged bike, let's go.
Yeah,
yep, animate object, and then cast fly on it.
Yeah, cast the awaken spell on the bike.
True polymorph, turn it into a person.
I'm fairly sure it would be screaming at least 90% of the time.
No, it takes a true polymorph. You take on the intelligence and
I meant more with the sentience part.
Oh well, yeah.
Yes, being a bike and then suddenly gaining sentience. I don't know. You'd have some weird feelings about feet, I think.
There's a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy passage in here somewhere.
No, that's
yeah, I'm sure.
It's like when Aaron tried to cast Talk to Plants on a necromantic valley in front of a dying chapel, and all he heard was screams.
I mean, the plants had something to say.
They did. And most of it was, ow!
Yeah.
So, goodbyes have been said. The three of you, Ragnar, Sybil, and Jerry, trundle out of the House of the Vagrant Wind, saying goodbye to your old friend Bastion for now. I say old friend because we've been playing for a while, but
It's been a few weeks.
yeah,
It's literally been a week.
that's old enough in adventurer terms. Your old war buddies. You, I assume, sort of pile in and pile on to Sybil's wagon, hitching the horses up.
They can ride out on the driver's thing.
Yeah, so what's everyone's sitch?
They can ride in them. Oh wait, no. There's also like a porch on the back, so I assume that's where Sybil's probably chilling at or driving if no one else is on the cart.
Rotten is probably walking.
Jerry would
Okay.
be walking and leading his donkeys down the road.
Okay, so Jerry and Ragnar are walking. They leave Sybil to drive the carriage.
Yes.
Okay.
One small thing, Aaron.
Mhm.
Okay, so as we're leaving, I want to begin keeping vigorous notes on the surrounding landscape and everything. Essentially, what I want to do is I make notes to later in the evening to start building a map out of it.
Sure. Yeah. So we have a map here. I assume that either Sybil or Bastion, just because of their affluent backgrounds, especially now with Sybil being in the Bardic College, she would have access to like this map.
Yeah,
At least.
yeah.
Mhm.
But like she won't. What I'm saying is like the map that she wants to keep like vigorous notes, like every single thing that like could be pointed at
Okay.
and be like, oh, that's unique, because it's think like from a road map to a satellite map.
Gotcha. Like this cool hill was here. There was a cool
Yeah.
tree over like this far past the cool hill. Yeah. Cool.
Mhm. Yeah.
Nice. So you begin your gurney. You set out there's two Clydesdales, right?
Yes, one is named Clyde and the other is named Dell.
Okay, so sweet. The carriage begins trundling along, and in the early morning, as you are setting out, you follow along all the other various merchant wagons that are leaving the city. It's high summer here, just a few days after the Midsummer Festival, so the roads of the duchy will be busy, full of merchants going back and forth, selling their wares up and down the orchards of the coasts, or just the singular coast. There's not multiple coasts. So for travel on this scale, we can get 2 hexes per day. So it'll take 3 days to reach the Abbey of St. Raja. But I suppose I have a question to ask you. I just want to make sure. Are you at all concerned about traveling stealthily? Do you want to take some of the back roads, or do you want to take like the main road?
I don't know about the rest of you guys, but it's a big gaudy like gypsy carriage essentially. So
If Rotna cared about stealth, he wouldn't be wearing plate armor 24/7.
I assume like Jerry would be scouting ahead, right?
Yeah. I mean, if Jerry would scout, I guess he'd sort of tie the reins to the donkeys to the back of the carriage, and I guess Jerry's thing would be to ask Ragnar and Sybil, hey, you guys, we isn't this Evan Raja from this Abbey of St. Raja? I mean, should we maybe is that a stronghold of his? Is this something where we're gonna go in there and it's everyone there is his men?
I actually don't remember. I thought he was in one Nero Res.
Yeah, so we haven't actually. I don't think we've formally decided, Rachna, where you grew up. But if you wanted to be near Orez, yeah, totally. That can be. He could have been like the bishop at the chapel in Orez. You would know that though he claims to have blood stretching back to Saint Raja, that doesn't make him part of that's like sect of the clergy.
He will basically relay that in Brahmana speak, which is usually just short to the point.
And Jerry will just sort of nod and understand and be like, okay, makes a little more sense. Just because he is, just because he's a bishop doesn't mean that the Abbey of Saint Raja is under his command or whatever. It could be a different place. So we'll scout it out and we'll see.
So you are actively not keeping watch then, Rachna?
Well, he is more imagining what he's going to do to Evans when he gets there.
So
Alright.
Good old-fashioned daydream. That's good.
Yeah, I'll have to add an other category.
I did.
It'd be great as if I had a invisible companion who could keep watch.
But of course you don't have that, so too bad.
No, he is what you would call toast currently.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, indeed. Cool. So you just set out from the big shining gates of Valdore. There are banners and pennants blowing in the wind, and there's not nearly as much red tape leaving the city as there would be coming in. Like no one bothers to check your cart or anything. And you quickly find yourself passing through like the outskirts of the city. A fair amount of sort of like manor, like farm estates. Those nobles who make their wealth farming. You pass by all of their luxurious estates. And it's kind of hot out today, a little hotter than usual, to be honest.
Also, once we leave basically the crowd of other people with carts, he will go back to keeping watch.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I'll just... cool.
I don't know how to remove this.
I'll just... There we go.
Thank you.
No worries. The brooding is always there. Cool. Passing by the farm manors, you sort of get to an area of rolling hills, and you can see many orchards as you pass by. Various fruits, all you know, grown for wine. You're in the thick of wine country here, leaving of Valdore. So, just because it's a little hotter than usual, let's have everybody make a travel check for me.
I'm gonna use real quick. Like once it starts getting uncomfortably hot, I'm gonna use prestidigitation on my hat and make it cooler than usual for up to an hour.
Oh, cool! And you can just keep casting that.
Yes.
So it's a very low DC. It's not hardly strenuous, but it's a little hot. So I just want to see what happens.
Okay.
DC 6 for Rachna, and Jerry DC 5 for Sybil. Yeah, there's no good.
Is Rana at all actually bothered by the heat? Because
Right, you have heat resistance, so DC 5 for you as well.
Okay.
And that's
very easy.
we're doing athletics. What do we do? What are we rolling?
Yeah, so either of your choice, either a con athletics check or a wisdom athletics check. There's no good way to do that via the sheet. You'll have to type it in manually.
I got it. Okay,
so-
that's why I got confused.
Yeah.
So basically,
I can either.
basically how that boils out is you choose con or wisdom, whichever you prefer, and then if you are proficient in athletics, you also add your proficiency.
7.
Mhm. Cool.
I either go for a.
I technically made it.
I either go for
Yes.
a +1 or a +0. choices. Yay.
Right. Oh yeah. So like, Sybil, you're traveling by cart. You're traveling by road too, so very easy getting by. Though it's a little hot, Rhakna has natural resistance to it, and Sybil's prestidigitation allow you to be quite comfortable traveling onward.
Yeah, Jerry just had to suffer.
Jerry's good at suffering, so that's okay.
I will say this: if Jerry is looking visibly uncomfortable, she will cast it on like him too. It's just one of those things. It's like she does this for herself and then doesn't think about it because she's so used to not being in a group.
I don't think Jerry would. I mean, based on the role, I don't think Jerry would have. This is not particularly strenuous for Jerry. He's been through worse in his training.
Okay. I was just saying this. It's just one of those things. It's like it would be. She'd notice it. She's like, oh, I can do this.
I can be useful.
That is
Cool.
something she truly enjoys doing, is being useful.
No need to make navigation checks either because you're following a road. I made some random encounter checks, and you get the end of the day having nothing encounter you. You get pretty far out of Veldore, and you're in the thick of farm country now. I'm sure at the end of the day, you come to like a small roadside inn. It's not even marked on the map. It's you all get dysentery. Yeah, it's not a big enough town to even be marked on the map. But I'm sure there's like a lovely elderly couple who like open up their home to traveling merchants. If you should wish to rest there, you can rest elsewhere.
Sybil's chilling in her, or Sybil's crashing in her cart.
Jerry wouldn't he'd be fine being outside. He wouldn't want to bother anybody. And he also wouldn't really want to spread word about where they were. For him, the less people that know where they're going, the better.
Ron is used to sleeping outside.
Cool. Do you
So
guys
are
have
we
like,
all going to be keeping watch for the night, or
Yeah. Yeah, I'd assume that's what. Sybil will take a shift. You just gotta knock on her door.
cool? What's the order of watches?
Jerry would offer to go first.
Ronna will go wherever?
Does Sybil want to sleep longer or get up in the middle of the evening?
I mean, she'll take whatever anyone gives. If someone wants to take the middle shift, essentially she'll do whatever. She doesn't. You get the sense she probably doesn't sleep a lot, anyways, as it is. She's the kind of person that pulls all nighters.
Alright, cool. We do this order then. So everyone expend a ration for the day. Especially in this type of terrain, the horses and the donkey don't need ration. They can eat like the grass and stuff. We need 3 rations expended for y'all.
And Jerry would offer the rations that he had bought. If you guys didn't want to use yours, he would offer you some from the extras that he had bought.
Sybil would actually not say. She actually probably would have made a hot batch of tea and everything and brought it out to everyone, because I think there's a campfire and everything, and I don't want to make it sound like she's like, we all make camp and then immediately she crashes into her tent. She would have hung out with everyone around the campfire and ate, and she would have made a hot batch of tea for everyone and probably shared the fresh bread she bought in the city.
Oh, nice.
Cool. We have a lovely little scene of you all eating bread by the campfire.
There's also like wooden and metal chimes hanging from the roof of her carriage, so I guarantee you that it's like doom, 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 and then you get the metal ding, 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 ding every occasional. So it's just this ambiance.
Nice. We don't have to like go full Monty and like play it all out, but like give me a general sense of like what the campfire conversation is like.
Well, Ragnar is silent unless he specifically has to talk.
Okay, so Jerry and Sybil, do you guys talk about anything?
I imagine it's like the first few days you meet your roommate in college, where you're just kind of like, well, I mean, it's just us now, so small talk here and there.
We might as well get to know each other a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Jerry would just talk about some of the times from like him at the Abbey. So like he would talk about, there's a path that takes 2 hours to get down the mountain to sort of some farming land that's used by the Abbey, and the initiate's got to walk 2 hours down the mountain, work in the fields all day, and then walk 2 hours back up the mountain back home again at night, and just sort of like tell you stories about sort of taking care of things around the Abbey and sort of his day-to-day life there.
Well, Sybil would just kind of be like, oh, well, that's astronomically different from what I experienced growing up in the city.
It was a welcome change after my own experience growing up in the city. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned something about that. I hope that whole Gaspari issue resolves itself. He seemed a little peeved when we left.
Yeah. I don't know whether that was sometimes it's good to I don't know, stand your ground, make it that make it known that you're your own person. I for better or worse, it's what I felt was the right thing to do.
Yeah, no, I get it. It was just a bold move. I was surprised, and not unpleasantly so either. It was exciting, sort of in a different way, not like in the middle of bullets and blades flying, but more of a diplomatic excitement, I guess, where you were taking your own swings at him without using fists or sword. It was kind of cool.
It's a strange situation. I mean, I spent my whole life looking up to that guy as though he's some sort of, I don't even know, some father figure, but you realize at some point in time you're your parents should have your best interests at heart, and when you realize that that's never going to be the case, you try and reevaluate. I mean, I'm sure your parents wouldn't put you in the kind of situations that somebody like him does.
Oh, I'm sure not. I mean, the most they do is stick me in charge of a bookshop. And as she says bookshop, she just kind of like, oh no. I forgot to put the bookshop in order before we left. Oh no.
I'm sure you can send word.
Right. No, definitely. It's just kind of like, she kind of like, okay. No, but the worst they can do is, do that. I mean, yeah, when they go out of town and they kind of go like, yeah, run the bookshop. So that's what I do. That's the worst situation, I suppose. I don't know.
I mean,
this is weird.
I mean, your parents, they go out of town. They just put you in charge. You know where they go when they just sort of ship on out.
No, they honestly they're not even sure where they go. Sometimes they sometimes go out with a destination in mind. Other times they go out to find, well, the interesting books and scrolls and tomes, the high end stuff that we sell in the shop. They usually procure it themselves.
Yeah, Jerry'll just nod and just say, going out and finding books for a living. That's good. That's good when you can make your living doing something like that.
Yeah, it is. Don't get me wrong, I love books and everything, but honestly, sitting in a bookshop all day is kind of boring. I thought it was great fun, and it definitely kept me busy. But over the last week, or well, it's definitely not been boring.
Well, if we end up having to climb up the side of a mountain and infiltrate an enemy base, boring won't be the word you'll be able to use over the next few weeks, probably.
Yay. Very sarcastic.
Cool.
We went full Monty. I'm sorry.
Yeah, hey, man, I'm never going to say no. Cool. So you have this, like, nice little conversation. At some point, everyone turns in. During the evening, Sybil, during your slumber, you have a dream. And not a dream about the books in your compartment.
We don't talk about the compartment, Aaron. It doesn't exist.
Oh, okay, yeah. In some sort of fictional compartment you totally don't have. Though, in this dream, you are in your carriage, in the back, laying up in your bunk, and you are reading a book, but it's no book that you recognize, and in that typical dream fashion, you can't make out like the words on the page. But quite suddenly, the book feels very hot in your hands. And
Aaron, you're not convincing me it's not those books. I'm sorry.
Though it feels much more hot in your hands, and you begin to smell sulfur and brimstone as the book becomes far too hot for you to even hold. What do you do?
So it's burning, like.
Yeah, like it's hurting to hold.
Oh, so the book's not like physically on fire?
I mean, not at the moment.
I would essentially fling it forward and just kind of like do that thing where you skitter backwards.
Cool. You
And just
throw the book forward, skitter backwards, like up on like to the head of your bed, and as soon as the book touches like the end of the bunk, it erupts into fire, and starts to like consume the inside of your carriage, full of pages and books. It lights so quickly. What do you do?
Oh God. So this turned into a nightmare real quick. Jeez. I imagine that it's blocking the door.
It hasn't spread so quickly. You could try to get to the door if you wanted.
Okay, so her first instinct would be just kind of like, what's going on? What's going on? And then like she'll kind of settle in, and I assume prestidigitation is not going to snuff this fire out.
You try to make the magic happen, but it fails.
Oh no! Oh no! Did I do it wrong? I don't know. And she'll like look around frantically before. I don't. Oh my! I gotta get out of here. And she'll do the thing where she grabs as many books, like specifically the stuff that she feels personally connected to, and she'll do that thing where she just almost stumble through the door if she can, because I assume it's getting smoky at this point, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah, the air is thick with this like acrid sulfurous smoke, and you pick up the more valuable books that you want to save, and you rush to the doors, but you slam against them. The doors refuse to open, though you tug and tug and tug, and you can see the flames licking closer and the smoke choking in your lungs. And there are glass panes in your windows, right?
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I was about to just beat on them until they open.
Yeah, you start pounding on the glass, but you see in the reflection of the glass there is a figure behind you in the burning carriage, sort of silhouetted by the fire. The form is amorphous and dark, though vaguely humanoid. And you hear a voice echo in your mind that says, "My child, be not afraid of the fire."
Freeze, just like, have I heard this? I haven't heard this voice before, right?
No.
Yeah. She is like almost more viciously she refuses, like once she sees this and the pain, it's almost like, no, this is all a dream. This is all a dream. This is all a dream. This is ridiculous. And then like because I assume this is a super physical like feeling, like as dreams are, it's almost everything is amplified, right?
Yeah.
Telling you essentially that no, it's not a dream. This is absolutely real life. And then she'll try to take a few deep breaths, and then she'll just go into full freak out mode, trying to fling herself against the door.
Okay. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Not good at these. Oh.
You throw yourself against the door, ka-chunk, ka-chunk a second time, and then the third time, the door shatters open, and you go tumbling out. You sort of like fall onto the damp grass below in this just sort of like endless field. Sorry, no, there's no grass. You fall out into this like russet-colored dirt and like rocks, and you see around you. Sorry, I'm gonna correct myself a third time, or a second time, I guess. You tumble out of the burning carriage, and neither grass nor rocks. You tumble out onto ice.
Aaron, I know what this is.
Yeah, you tumble out onto cold, dark ice. Around you, just like a pitch black chill encompasses you. But like the flaming carriage is still there.
God.
And like the fire and the smoke of the carriage sort of form this like the same amorphous humanoid figure. And out in this cold, the heat of the fire is gone, and you feel this like oppressive sadness start to sort of seep into you. And then you see in the darkness the faces of the people you have killed sort of like looming out of the darkness towards you. And the figure in the fire extends a hand to you and says, "Be not afraid of the fire, my child, for it offers solace and warmth when all else is cold and dark."
So essentially, let me get a good picture of this. Essentially, the burning carriage has amassed into a vaguely humanoid shape, and that is directly in front of me, while the essentially visages of the like the faces and the like essentially the beings of the people like killed are behind me, right?
Yeah.
So Sybil has a moment where she doesn't know anything. She's in the frantic moment, but when seeing, I assume that she has memorized at least the faces of some of the people she's killed. So seeing that, she's almost like takes a few steps towards the fire and a few more, and then like is only a few feet away and just kind of says, "What is this?"
Your question rings out in like the cold abyss around you, but as you approach the fire, you feel a warmth and like a sense of safety from the frigid abyss outside. And to answer your question, sort of like the vaguely fire smoky figure says, your destiny. And at that point, you wake up back in your carriage, not on fire.
Okay.
And at the end of your bed, where you threw the book in the dream, there is a scorch mark under a leather-bound book that you have never seen before.
Huh. She will, with shaking hands, grab it and very tentatively, rather very tentatively touch it to make sure it's like not going to explode.
Mm-hmm. You touch it, it does not explode, but it does feel warm. Not burning, but just like comfortably warm. And there is emblazoned on the front a 2 words that make the title of this book, and they are, I will tell you in just a hot sec. Yes. The title of the book, emblazoned in gold leaf upon this like black leather tome, is called Mystic Arcanum.
Mystic Arcanum spelled like normal.
Yes. Yeah, so that happens.
Sorry, I was writing it. I was finishing writing that down.
That's fine.
I will, like, reading it. She'll open it very cautiously and curiously.
Looking inside, the words seem foreign at first, jagged, almost like they were written with like with claws. But slowly, the words begin to make sense before your eyes, and you can see this is a tome of spells, ancient and old. You can see that the first few pages of this spell, or of this book, detail what is effectively the find familiar spell. And you are given with the insight that if you wanted your friend to return, this would be the magics by which you could do so.
All right, and all right, that's awesome. So, question. This is a small thing. The words that were written, are they infernal?
Do you know Infernal?
I do.
Then yes, you recognize them as Infernal script.
All right. Yeah, I know infernal. Weird. I have a weird cacophony of languages. I know infernal, celestial, common, elven, and goblin.
Okay, cool.
So, wow. All right. That's awesome.
Flipping through the book a little more, you see there are many other spells in the book, though they are complicated. And you just look at them and like have no idea how to even begin deciphering them. But perhaps with time and study, you can.
Okay, so right next to I haven't really described it, but she has like a belt where her journal with like not a sash, a pouch for like books, literally on the hip. So it's like a book holster for her hips, and like I assume that she'll probably just, if it won't fit in there, she'll keep it close by to her. Because you said it is emanating like a warmth to it, right?
Yes.
Is it a comforting warmth?
Oh yeah, it's definitely like a warm and fuzzy warmth.
Okay, she's gonna keep that near her.
Okay, cool. It's a little like big, but I think it can fit comfortably in your holster. You actually kind of feel that initially it looks a little too big for your holster, but it's sort of like magically shrinks like to fit.
That's interesting. All right. That is, well, I mean, at some point, she's not probably going to do it tonight because, intense stream and all, but at some point she will perform the ritual for Find Familiar.
Cool. The rest of the night passes uneventfully for everyone else, and you all wake up in the morning refreshed and ready to go. waking up in the morning, though, the weather quite different today. It looks like big storm clouds on the horizon, and a colder wind blows through the air.
Jerry will just get up and sort of say, "Hey, let's get moving, guys. We might have to bunker down before too long, so let's get some traveling done while we can."
All right, Noel nod.
You said it was raining, right? Or is it just like...
Yeah. As you look up at the sky, rain begins to fall.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, definitely. We should get moving.
Cool. The party continues traveling. Everyone give me the same travel check-a-roonies. But this time the DC is 9. It's cold and rainy. And well, thunderstorming actually. The heavens soon open and a deluge begins falling.
Ooh.
Yeah.
She's a little stricken up.
Yeah.
She didn't sleep well last night.
Indeed. So Sybil, failing the travel check, you lose half your hit dice.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But Aaron, my hit points, they're so important.
Well, not your hit points, your hit dice.
Which allow me to regain hit dice.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry,
I mean,
points.
at the end of the day, if you rest fine, you'll get that half right back.
I hope.
Yeah. So it just like represents you having like a real bad day.
Look, but for real, and with a crit 1, I appreciate that kindness. I'm not joking.
Yeah. I think so. Like being outside, having to lead the horses, like this thunderstorm, like pelting you down in the face. I assume you've got like a cloak that you keep around you, but it is miserable and it's a little cold today. The wind blows, cutting through your cloak.
Oh yeah,
Is
it's not great.
yeah, is a bad time. Though Rachna and Jerry perhaps used to. I mean, this is Rachna's new element, right? Like the storm.
Jerry would steer clear of Rachna, I think, because he's like covered in
Lightning
metal.
Oh yeah.
Jerry doesn't like lightning. Ever since a particular incident.
Yeah, or you were almost killed by lightning.
Oh yes. Cool.
Mechanics question for lower checks. For saves, do you automatically count a crit 1 as a failure even if you pass the check, like by number?
As per the rules, crit 1s only count in that way for attack rolls.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool. So you're pressing on, trudging through the horrible weather today, and you're passing by some like old farmsteads when you see something in the distance. There's a great flash of lightning, and amid the rain, you see coming up. There's sort of like a couple hills that flank the road, and you can see in the middle of the road there are several humanoid figures. One human-sized, 2 about like 9 or 10 feet tall, and then 1 that is like 20 feet tall. You sort of see amid the rain, you see this like crazy scene. There appears to be like some bare-chested, like wild, like barbarian dude who is in the process of like fisticuffing two ogres and what looks to be a hill giant.
I mean,
Rhonda draws his weapon.
there's a moment when, like, you know that moment when you have when you look at something and you're like, that's so ridiculous, it can't actually be happening, right? Yeah, no, this isn't happening, right? This is happening.
Yeah,
What is
and you can see as well up on top of the hills there are two ogres flanking the road, one on each side. Each of them carrying what looks to be like a ballista. And there are big trees that have been knocked over to block the road. This looks like some sort of like horrible ambush.
Okay.
And this is more or less what you see.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Is that just... Damn, what's his name? The really muscular guy from Fullmetal Alchemist. Is that just him in war paint?
No, it is not Alex Louis Armstrong.
No, it is not.
It looks like him in just war paint. More hair.
But everyone, Armstrong is the best character of FMA. Like, he really is. And his sister is equally as great.
So does this guy up ahead look like he's in trouble? Like, is he literally like having a punch battle with them, or like he has a weapon of some sort?
I'll let Trig describe what's happening. I have to go close my window. These fireworks are getting on my nerves.
All right, yeah. So
Okay.
this guy does not have a weapon and looks like he is literally like swinging bare-fisted, at these at these very large creatures, and honestly, he looks like he's kind of holding his own. Like, you know, he'll like duck a punch and then like duck down and go for an uppercut, and then like, you know, get hit in the side, you know, stand his ground, and then you know, duck in low and do like a double jab to the gut.
Wow.
So Jerry is instantly impressed, I think.
As is Rhonda.
So Sybil looks at, like, the other two, because I imagine she's sitting atop the carriage still, and while you two are either, like, mounted on a donkey or walking beside it, and she'll just kind of look back and forth between you guys, and she'll just be like, Are we supposed to help? Does he need help? Do we help? We help, right?
It's 5-on-1. We should help.
I mean, he is pretty... He's holding his own? At least now, maybe? No, we should help. You're right. We should absolutely help.
Indeed. Let us begin to roll initiative.
I got a decent initiative.
Wonderful.
Didn't expect that.
I got better than normal. 0. Okay, 8.
Ogres.
Also a question, did the ballista look like they're getting ready to fire?
Oh yeah, it looks like they're carrying like these ballistas as like oversized crossbows.
I more mean, like, do they look like they're taking aim, or do they just look like they're watching?
Oh no, yeah, you can definitely see that they are like loading them with these big bolts and like firing them down at this like warrior who is fist fighting the giant. Though he is definitely dodging most of them. Let me just... I'll do that. Oh yeah.
I have an idea for a great opening gambit, because this sounds wonderful. I just read one of my spells and I was like, of course I'm going to do this.
I'm excited.
Jerry, you have the initiative in this encounter. You see these like ogres and giants. They appear to be like brigands, like ambushing the road. What's going on?
So is this 5 feet a square?
Yep.
And so I think Jerry will will drop the reins to the donkeys and sort of push his cloak off to the ground, draw a faint short sword, and dash in to help. He can move. Let me see. He can move 50 feet. So 1, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and then he would. So like, are these guys like all up in this guy's face? Like, are they sort of that far away because like they're just so huge, or are they surrounding this guy?
So in game terms, the big hill giant does indeed have reach. So he is like swinging his big like tree trunk club down at this guy. It looks like the ogres have been like pushed back by this guy's like, battle presence, and are like coming back to charge in again. So everything is where they are.
So Jerry will try and slide through the giant's legs and cut at his ankles, and that's going to be his move.
Cool.
So attack.
I'm gonna attack Rose.
You got that mobile feat too, so if you hit him, you can't take opportunity attacks. And you ain't got to disengage. It's beautiful.
So you take the first swing of the short sword, and you're used to cutting like people flesh, but you find this hill giant has thick skin, and your sword fails to cut. But seeing this, you come back for the second strike and drive it deep into the giant's ankles. For 5 damage.
And I can do sneak attack with that too, right?
There is no ally within 5 feet of the giant.
Oh, because we'd have to. Okay, got it. So then, the next thing Jerry's gonna do from there is use the dash action to sort of run in, attack, and then go right back.
Dash is a bonus action, you mean?
Dash is a bonus action. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Lovely. Okay, cool. Yeah, you see run in, stab the giant in the leg. It sort of hollers like, "What is Tiny Sting Man doing?" Okay, Sybil.
Oh boy, what I wanted to do. Okay, what I want to do is, this is dumb because it's a 30-foot range. A lot of my spells are 30-foot range. I gotta get close. So I'm going to move my full movement. Let me get the select tool. I'm gonna move my full movement to, I think is right here. I think is 25 feet. Okay,
that's 30.
Bonus action. I'm going to blow my saved Misty Step in my ring, and I'm going to pop another 30 feet. What is this? Is this like a tower sitting right here in front of me, or is it like, what is it?
Yeah, so you see there are ruins of old abandoned farmhouse, smashed to bits over the years.
Okay.
So they are just like single-story ruins.
So what I want? Okay, single story.
And these sort of like hills these ogres are on are about 15 feet tall.
How tall is the single story?
Like it varies. I think the walls they could provide cover, but you can see over them.
Okay. Jeez. All right, I'm gonna cast Misty Step. Jeez.
Okay, where are you going?
Real dumb. I'm gonna move right here.
Okay. You vanish and
I in
reappear.
fact agree.
As soon as she does it, she's like, "Oh, you're really ugly and really big." And then I'm going to cast blindness and deafness on as with one of my warlock spells, and since it is a level 4 spell, I get 2 additional targets.
Ooh. Cool.
Right, and let me check something because I think they have to be. When you cast this. Okay, yeah, it's just as long as they're in range. So I'm gonna hit the big fat right there. I'm gonna hit this ogre, and I'm gonna hit the ballista ogre right here.
Okay,
I wanted to hit them both, but I couldn't. But it was 30 feet, and I was like, jeez.
Okay. Alright, so
Unless you want
that's
to
a
hook the giant.
so that's a con save, I believe.
I'm about to drop it.
Okay. Yes, Constitution saving throw. What's your DC?
15, if I'm remembering correctly.
Right.
Yes.
The hill giant saves. The ogre to his right also saves, and the ballista ogre fails.
Yes, that's the one I was worried about.
Yeah, the one with the ranged weapon. Yeah. Most important to blind that one. So so you were casting blindness though specifically, as opposed to deafness.
Oh yeah, it would have been blindness.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I forgot that it doesn't do both.
No worries. Yes, that you can see that ogre's eyes cloud over with the dark, roiling smoke.
Oh jeez. All right. Oh jeez. Okay, that is my turn. I can't move. I've moved my full movement. I'm probably gonna die. That's fine.
Okay, it is the ballista ogre's turns. The not blinded one is gonna take this. It's got a huge like javelin quiver, and just takes one of these basically like javelin like bolts and like puts it in this like ballista it's carrying, and it will make a shot. I think at the warrior who is fighting still. So let us see. It's gonna shoot, but it misses. So Trig, this like basically ballista bolt like smashes in the ground beside you. It would have certainly like run through a lesser man had it hit. The blinded one is gonna like be yelling in its blindedness, and it is going to grab its ballista, and it like remembers kind of where you were, Sybil. So it's going to grab its ballista and like raise it like a baseball bat.
I would call that an improvised weapon, sir.
That seems reasonable to me. And it's gonna run up. Well, first let's see if it overshoots. So I'll give it. That seems like a wisdom. I'll give it a wisdom save. If it fails, let's say a wisdom save of 12. It'll go too far.
Tennessee, come on.
Oh my god.
Right. So the ogre in
Just
its
trips
rage,
over.
in its rage and its blindness, it runs too far and tumbles down the hill, taking a d6 fall damage. Someone roll a d6 for me. Somebody takes 2 points of damage as it sort of tumbles down the hill. Oh, sorry. Jerry was first. Jerry was first. It takes 3 points of damage.
Aha!
Nice.
Yeah.
Good job, Jerry.
Okay. That is the ballista dude's turn. Then it is Rachna.
Okay, Rachna's gonna move up to right next to the warrior.
Okay.
And since there's 2 ogres in close proximity and there's a lightning storm, I'm gonna call lightning on them.
Ooh, very nice.
In fact, I may be able to hit the big one too. I don't roll this. Why am I rolling?
Yeah, it's
It's
a
a
point, and then everything within
save.
5 feet of that point. So you can target like that point and get like those 4 squares, or like this point and get these 4 squares. So you can get like the 2 ogres or the giant.
I think the 2 ogres.
That seems reasonable. Dex
Yeah.
saves it is. The ogre without the ballista fails, and the ogre with the ballista succeeds. It'll like half. But it's blinded, so it has disadvantage, so I think it fails.
Oh, okay then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about
And
that.
since there is a natural storm going on, it does 1d10 extra damage.
Awesome.
And
Let's see this.
there we go. 17 plus 4. So
Nice. 21 points of damage.
21 damage. And one moment. Where is it? Also, I have Thunderbolt Strike. So they're basically just slammed into the wall.
Cool. Yeah. So, Sybil, you see this lightning bolt streak down and like just blow the ogres back, like up against the hillside.
I mean, she jumps significantly, and there's probably a squeal because, yikes!
Yeah. Mr. Mysterious Warrior, do you react to the lightning at all?
Well, let's do a thing quick.
Aaron, I think
Okay.
as we all see here, his name is Wabajack.
So he would have noticed you guys around, and he's going to, be holding his ground, kind of keeping an eye on all the Ettins, and this lightning strike is going to, strike beside him, and it looks like he holds his ground, but he looks like he's ready to, like, jump away from it. But seeing that it is arcing toward the Christ, their name is escaping me.
Your foes.
The ogres, thank you. My God. Seeing as it's working towards the ogres and not him, he holds his ground and says, "Very nice!"
Cool. It is then the melee ogres' turns, and they will get doing what they do best. The one that Rachna slammed with lightning will raise its club and charge back in, making an attack with its great club at Rachna. This hits Rachna for 14 bludgeoning damage.
Okay, and in reaction, I am going to use Wrath of the Storm.
Cool.
And blast it
imagine-
backwards 10 feet again.
Nice. So it makes the dex save, which it super fails. So give me that 2d8. Very good. 12 points of damage. Yes.
Yeah, 14 damage reduced by 3 because Heavy Armor Master.
Totally. So imagine this ogre is like running up with its like great club over its head. It brings it down like you sort of like take the blow on your shield. It totally hurts with the force, but then like this electric discharge, you just like fling it off of your shield like it was careening back into the hillside again.
Again, just you see from atop, like I'm balanced on this precarious arch, and it's just as it rattles, you're just like, oh.
I'm just bombarding it with ogres.
Yeah. Because I'm feeling evil, Sybil, make a dexterity save. As this ogre is repeatedly slamming into this hillside and you are standing precariously on the edge.
Nope.
Yeah, I think you tumble down like on top of the ogre, taking 2 points of falling damage as you tumble like down onto this ogre's back, like straddling its neck.
Oh boy. All right.
The other ogre's gonna run up and try to smack this person. Yeah, totally. The great club though misses you. Slams down into the ground beside you. The giant, however, says, "Tiny Punchman, give all coins and food to me." But then before it lets you do that, it tries to smack you. It takes 2 great club swings at you. One of those will connect for 18 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yep. That.
Ooh, that's a lot.
That is. Okay. After that blow, what do you do?
So the warrior is going to laugh at the ogre. The second club is going to swing down and miss, and he's going to dodge to the side, and the ogre will catch him on the upswing. And kind of like, catch him on the jaw, and he slips backwards. He's going to be like, hold on, trying to get my accent right. That was not very... Nope. Damn. Well, that was not very nice. And he's going to, the javelin that is stuck in the ground, is it, like, rigidly stuck in the ground?
You could pull it out if you wanted to.
Oh, I was asking if I could use it as a vault.
Oh, yeah, also that. It has Schrodinger's, like, tenseness.
Perfect. So he is going to take like a 1-2 step, or actually, I meant to ask this a while back, but I was waiting until my turn. Because I was already in the middle of combat, would it be unreasonable to say I'm already raging?
That seems fine. Yeah.
Okie dokie. In that case, I will change that to 9 damage.
All out of bubble gum.
Okay, this hits. All right. Lovely. The 13 just hits. Beautiful. Cool. Beautiful. So you see this, like, animal skin cloaked, like, wild man do these crazy acrobatics. His fists glow with radiant energy, and then you see him just, like, pummel this giant, and then he assumes a very, like, acrobatic, like, dodging position. This guy clearly knows what's up, and it is Jerry's turn.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry, you guys just missed that turn. I came down with a double.
so basically, I think Jerry would be really surprised to see somebody sort of doing like flips and stuff. Is this in any kind of like monk tradition that Jerry has ever seen before?
So I think it's probably like a very distant tradition. You might not have seen like the moves and stuff, but I think that you can feel like the key of the fight flows differently because this guy is here. So like you can tell he's like doing like monk stuff, but perhaps of a tradition that you are not familiar with.
Cool.
I would say probably like you can tell it's a little bit monkey, but it's also bastardized because it's more like brute force savage than like the refined thing that is probably more in this area.
Cool. So so Jerry would he is going to do spend a key point to use Step of the Wind, which will double my jump for the turn. I'll spend that now. And my plan is to basically run and leap up onto the giant and stab him in the neck.
Sweet. I think with Step of the Wind, there's no roll required. You just like jump up and do it.
Yeah. So so you see this this monk sort of like with a speed that you can hardly like he moves like in a flurry past you. You sort of feel the wind rush past you as he leaps up onto this giant, and then you see him bring his sword onto the neck of this giant into attack.
I will say that the giant was super not expecting this particular move, so you can have advantage on these attacks this turn.
All right, cool. I will take your generosity and appreciate it.
So both those hit.
So so 15 damage.
And then because you have advantage, you can sneak attack.
Cool. 6.
Extra 6. Beautiful. Yeah, you jump up on the giant's neck and drive faint sword in. You see sort of gross giant blood start spurting out of this wound, and it goes, "Cursed small mosquito man bites neck of Gurg." And it's just Sybil.
I have been running what to do through my mind for the last feels like hour. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do, guys.
Please, do not be hugging the ogre.
Oh, jeez. So first things first, I'm going to have a minor freak out and just start screaming. It's like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I wish all of you would go away. And then I'm going to cast Bane at first level.
Okay, cool.
So let me go ahead and...
Oh, is this her new bardness?
It is.
Cool. All right, who are the 3 creatures that you choose?
The one I'm holding on to.
Okay.
This one.
Okay.
And the Fat Hill Giant.
Alright, cool. So we'll do the hill giant first. They're not the most charismatic
charisma.
folk.
The
Indeed.
startling charisma.
Of the
Charisma of the hill giant. So if hill giant fails, the ogre you are on top of fails, and the ogre ballista carrier also fails. Hey, so what does your bane look like?
So, like, I imagine that whereas whenever she casts spells as a warlock, it's mostly has to do with her pen. I imagine her voice carries, and the screeches almost like sound like, for lack of a better term, nails on a chalkboard to them. And I imagine it almost like you watch as like their ear, like blood starts like kind of coming out of their ears, and just you see their necks, like their veins in their neck kind of go as the bardic magic actually flows through her voice.
Cool. That was your action. Any move for you?
Oh jeez. I mean, can I hop back on the cliff, or is that is above me?
You can make an acrobatics check.
No, I'm just gonna drop the. Nope.
Warning: they're probably going to keep slamming into the cliff.
Well, what I was hoping. Oh jeez, I don't want to burn another spell slot to bamf out. So, yeah, I'll do the acrobatics check to try to get up top.
Cool. Oh yes,
What's that?
you can use
Nice.
half your movement to get there, and you have half left to keep moving.
I'm going to, move 15 feet away from them. And like, is this an outcropping of rocks? Right here? Is that an outcropping of
yeah.
rocks?
Yeah.
I want to hide behind them.
Okay. Cool. Get some cover.
Yeah, do I provoke opportunity attacks?
I think because of like the narrative of you like climbing over this thing, I suppose you would technically. So I'll give him disadvantage though, because you are sort of at a weird angle.
I mean, one of them is blinded too, so that helps.
Oh yeah, from both of them. Right. Indeed. So, I think you can only make obbies at someone you can see. So only the non-blinded guy gets an attack of opportunity.
Okay.
Still hits though. Not the
That
crit,
hits.
but it still hits.
I mean-
10. Hits for 10.
That's actually low damage for what it could have been, but yo, silver length medius bone.
Yeah.
Alright. It is the crossbow ogre's turn. Well, ballista ogres. The one up on the cliff. Oh, is there something else you wanted to do?
Yeah, I was gonna use my bonus action, and I was just going to see. I know you guys got this. I'm gonna be here and out of the way, and I'm going to give bardic inspiration as I'm running away to Jerry, as he seems to be the one who kind of needs it right now.
Cool. So you can add a d6, Jerry, to any attack roll, check, or saving throw. Okay, so the ballista ogre is going to shoot at cool new friendo again. Cha-chunk. That's 17 hits.
Yes, it does.
Alright, this ballista bolt rips into you for 16 points of damage.
I will take 8 of that because I am still raging.
Indeed. The other blinded one, I think he's just going to shoot in like the direction of the sound of the fighting. So at disadvantage, he'll shoot. Let's see who. New.
Have him shoot at Jerry.
It just hit the hill giant.
New friendo is 1, Rachna is 2. So we'll just see who he's shooting more in the vicinity of. Alright, shooting more in the vicinity of Rachna, but with disadvantage, he misses.
Yeah, that miss.
Indeed. Okay, it is then Rachna's turn.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna move up to here,
He saves out of blindness.
and Lightning's gonna strike down on the 2 ogres again.
Cool.
So save.
Indeed. The melee ogre totally fails, and the bolt thrower also fails.
Okay.
Oh, what?
That is 31 lightning damage, and they are slammed back into the cliff.
Okay, that 31. The
Whoa.
melee ogre is like charred. You see his skeleton flash as it dies straight up.
We're getting Looney Tunes up in here.
Yeah.
As that bolt comes down, you can see the warrior rub his shoulder a little bit.
And that grievously bloodies the bolt thrower who managed to shake off the blindness spell. At the end of his
Okay,
turn.
and healing word on our new friend.
Cool.
Just 4, but still.
Thank you,
Better than-
comrade.
Better than
Roll
nothing. Okay, so this the giant is gonna take. Let's see. He's gonna try to get Jerry off of the side of him. So he is going to use one of his attacks to try to grapple you, Jerry. So I need you to oppose a 14 with either an athletics or acrobatics check.
What's better?
Does that
Definitely
count as an
acrobatics.
attack?
Yes, actually, that does. So I guess
Okay,
he
then I get a
minuses
free swing at it.
he minuses the Bane as well, I think. Let me read Bane real quick.
Whenever a target that fails
Attack roll.
Yeah.
I forget if grapple attempts count as attack rolls. I'll say they do for now. Minus 3 from that. So yeah, he fails to grapple you, Jerry. You're like scurrying around on him, rocking him. Make your attack.
Oh, that's not a good roll.
Indeed. The skin of this giant is thick, and his legs are kind of thrashing about, so you can't quite get a good
Okay.
swing in. It's going to use its other attack to, I think, just like take its big club and just try to like swat you off its shoulder. So here we go, Jerry. I will minus a d4 from this after I roll. Ooh.
Oh,
So,
that's
Oh,
gonna
high
hit.
on the D4.
but only
Oh.
minus 1. So, yeah, Jerry. This sort of brings it's basically wielding a tree that it brings up to smack you with. You take 17 points of bludgeoning damage. I'll have him take like 5 of that as well, because he's smacking himself.
Stop hitting yourself.
Yeah.
So
bloody,
17. That is a thing. Okay.
Indeed, yeah. And give me, let's say, a strength save to avoid being knocked off.
Sure.
DC. I was gonna say DC 17, but yeah, you totally hang on.
Nice.
I forget that Jerry like actually has some strength, being a monk. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, that is the El Gigante's turn.
Okay.
Back to
In that case, the warrior is going to use the spear again, or use the spear again to vault up and shouting, "Save some glory for Wojtek!" And he is going to swing at the if I make a grapple attempt, will it be my entire attack action, or can I like swing and then swing and then get a grapple attempt in with like my extra attack or something?
so I believe you can make a grapple attempt as one attack of your attack action.
Perfect. Okay, so Wojtek is going to swing up, one fist going out, and you see that fist light up for a second and then swing in for 17 points of damage. And then
Beautiful.
he is going to attempt to grapple with the second one, which I believe is a strength check.
Yes, opposed strength check.
Boom.
Oh, wow.
Okay. The Heal Gigante, they have pretty good strength, we'll see. Not strangling enough. I do want to check real real quick to see if there's a size limit on
Sure.
grappling.
You're just hanging on his leg.
I think it's one size above. I think that's what it
Yeah,
is.
that's what I think too. So I don't know if
I've
you
got-
could like.
Hold on, I've got
Yeah.
grappling here.
If someone can find it first, it'd be fine.
The target of the grapple must be no more than one size larger than you and must be within your reach. Using
Yeah,
at least
so you
one. Yeah.
Yeah, so he is huge, and your medium cannot technically grapple this creature. So if you want to make a regular attack roll instead,
Yeah. So,
we
Bash.
can still take the crit if you want.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So, we'll throw this out just for. Let's see. I would need to roll double dice off this, which is 1d4 plus 5, I believe. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so 2d4 plus 5.
Is that plus the extra d4 is another 2, so 9 damage
So
off.
9.
Um,
Beautiful. Okay.
So I imagine like he goes in for the swing, goes in like tries for the grapple, but like it doesn't quite work, but grabs him by like the jaw and he like pulls down as hard as he can.
Sweep the leg.
And yeah, for his last attack, he's going to do that thing. Jesus.
By the way, Ragnar is going to say, Jerry, move.
Okay. Yeah, the hits for 7. Cool. You're pummeling this giant. It looks very woozy. Your strikes Wojtek along with Jerry's sword. This giant is woozy instead of staggering. Speaking of Jerry, though, it's his turn.
So Jerry is right there. He's on top of the giant. So he is going to he is not appreciating these things. He has a lot of pent up frustration that he is going to take out on this giant creature. So I'm not sure. I think he would just let's see here. So he is going to do his 2 short sword attacks.
Both
And
hit.
then he is going to spend another key point to do 2 unarmed attacks. And
13 hits.
and then he is going to do his sneak attack damage, I think. Does the 20 hit, the 16 hit, and the 13 hits?
Yep. Those 3 attacks hit.
All right. 10. 9. Ooh, this is good damage.
28, 36 points of damage.
Holy moly,
Wow.
really?
Yeah.
Holy crap.
Nice.
And I don't know if you want to do the when I have the when I use the the extra attacks, there's the extra monk thing that happens. I'm looking for it. Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
like
can't find it in the list.
way
Yeah.
at the open palm or something.
Yes, that's the one. So it is not in my stuff, huh?
I have the player's handbooks. So you can search it in the compendium of role
Oh,
playing
nice.
as well. Yeah, it's just type way the open hand, and it'll show up.
Oh, got it. Okay. And yeah, it's the flurry of blows. That's it. So anyway, he just has to roll a strength check, DC 13, or be knocked prone.
Beautiful. It fails this check and falls prone because it is dead.
Oh, you could have let off with that. That's hilarious.
I just didn't know what you were getting at for a while, and then I. Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, Jerry's gonna take out all of his all of his frustration on this thing and basically stab it in the head and then kick it in the brain, I guess.
Because this is a giant, I gotta see which way it's falling. So we're gonna roll a d8, and it'll be like the direction in which this giant falls. Okay, so it falls to the right. So on top of this guy, actually, so we'll have this other ogre make it falls in a this way direction. So make this other ogre make a dexterity save.
Also roll with
Which it totally fails.
No, just for the heck of it, I'm rolling a d4. just roll a d4 just to see if it's 4. Because if it's 4, it's a -1.
Oh.
It's super fail, so it'll take a bunch of damage as this giant falls on top of it. It takes 13 points of damage and dies.
Dominoes.
Yeah, so Jerry, like you're riding this giant down, I imagine, very like God of War kind of style, and it like topples over on top of the other ogre who's like loaded ballista, impales the giant's stomach as it falls, and it tries to scramble off the cliff, but like the sheer weight of the giant pins it down. And Sybil, from your hiding spot, you can see the ogre like get like crushed to death underneath the falling giant. I think Jerry, you're like over here somewhere now.
That's awesome.
Wojtek does like a small leap and fist pump, like woo.
Okay, so it's then Sybil's turn.
All right. So because Sybil has been trying to be supportive and help people, and has not gone well so far, she's going to whip out her journal and her pen, and she's going to write a few things down, and she's going to flip her pen upwards and kind of point it towards the other cliff, and kind of do that thing where she like closes one eye and aims down the end of it, and as she does, the pen materializes into a rod, and from the end of the rod, a fireball is going to launch and hit right here.
Okay.
It should hit the ogre on the top, and it should hit the one on the bottom, but not my allies.
Yeah, you put it in such a way. Beautiful. Okay, dexterity saving throws. The melee ogre fails, and the bolt thrower ogre also fails. See that fireball for 38 points of fire damage. Beautiful.
Fire in the hole!
Yeah, this huge
I
fireball
like
goes
that
up.
the ballista is just left there.
You don't know my
Oh
favorite.
yeah, it's under a giant now, but still there.
My favorite thing about casting that spell is that a small bead of monochromatic fire literally flies over Jerry's head and just lands like right here, and then just erupts into this massive fireball.
Cool. Was that the end of your turn?
Is anyone looking particularly rough on hit points?
I'm fine.
I'm good.
People are kind of wounded, but
Okay, as long as no one's like in dire straits, she's going to kind of take a deep breath and be like, I did it. Okay, that was good. I didn't hit anyone this time. Well, anyone on purpose. And I believe that's all my turn because, yeah.
cool. At this point, the bolt thrower ogre, it just sort of like picks its ballista up, seeing its like boss having been killed. It just turns around and starts running. These big lumping strides. It starts fleeing.
Oh, boo.
So I'll just sort of like move it up here. It gets what's these things? Movements. It gets like 30 feet off the map in case anyone decides to do anything about it. Then it is Rachna's turn.
Okay, Rachna's gonna move over. One moment. To here, and lightning is going to strike down on the opposite side of the ogre, launching into the cliff.
Okay, cool. So you want to send it flying this way?
It's 10
or-
feet away from me. Period.
Okay, so it has to be that way.
Yep.
Which is interesting, right? Because if you put the lightning over like on the other side of it, it's
That's
just
what we get.
worded
Yeah.
interestingly.
Same effect.
Yeah.
But yeah,
cool.
it has to roll dexterity check.
It shall do so.
Lore-wise, we could probably say it's like a flex of divine power.
Yeah, that sounds.
And
Good, it fails.
27 damage, and
Woof,
it's launched
I-
back into the cliff.
It is launched back into the cliff, and you hear a sickening crunch as the lightning damage and the smacking of into the cliff breaks this thing's neck, and it dies.
How are you doing so much damage? That is so much damage.
That-
Because
it's
there's a natural storm. It does an
that's
additional
40,
1d10 damage.
Mhm.
Jeez.
And that's just like a really good roll, like 2 8s and a 10, like so.
Yeah.
Okay, Wojtek, there is only a fleeing ogre left, but besides that,
Wojtek is gonna let him go, but he is going to be laughing uproariously, and he's just gonna like fall down into the muddy path, like on his ass, and just start laughing hysterically. And just
Okay.
like he'll be like patting Rachna's armor on like the thigh and be like, "Excellent, excellent."
does anybody feel like pursuing the ogre?
I am going to just unless Jerry's gonna run after it. I didn't know. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead.
No worries.
Yeah,
Jerry, do you want to?
I'm going to charge it. Not.
I don't think I don't think Jerry feels particularly threatened by these creatures anymore. He's going to let it go.
Okay.
So Sybil will the whole time like holding her rod like out in front of her, still closing one eye and looking down at like the sights of a gun. She's going to get on the edge of the cliff, and I'm gonna just for the heck of it, I'm just gonna shoot an Eldritch Blast at it.
Cool. You get 2 of those.
No, do I roll twice for Eldritch Blast? Right?
You're a 5th level warlock, right?
I
Or
don't
like
think
a-
you roll twice. I just think it hits twice.
You,
Or I could be
you,
wrong.
you do make separate attack rolls. Yeah, for your Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Yeah, you get
Okay.
because you're like a
All right. So as long as it
first one
does.
hits. Yes, 2 hits.
Okay, so I'm just gonna roll one of the damages because it auto set it to progression. So it's just gonna be 2d10 plus whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then it'll be another plus 3 to that. So it'll be 18 total.
Right, 18.
Yeah.
Okay. You shoot your Eldritch Blast, and they smack into the back of the ogre. It stumbles, but keeps running.
I don't think I can do anything else with the bonus action because I'm out of warlock slots and I don't have any. Yep, that's it. She's like, and as that happens, she's like, "That's right, run! That's right!" And as she like starts saying it, you watch as she almost falls off the cliff again because it's wet ground. So she's
Jerry
like trying
puts his hands out to catch her.
Wojtek
That's
starts
awesome.
laughing harder. Says, "Yes, flee from the Malishka!"
Sybil falls forward.
Oh no. Jerry, make a dex save to catch her.
Okay.
Just because you said you were, so. Oh yeah, you managed to catch her before she falls.
And I sort of like gently like bring her to the ground and set her up and say, "Nice job, Sybil. That's better than a fireball that almost blows us all up."
Well, we're in a much wider place now, not in a tiny room. And she'll just kind of give a smile and just kind of like pat Jerry's shoulders, like, let's leave the part where I fell off of a cliff out of the stories we tell later, though. Please?
It was a strategy, right?
Yeah, no, totally.
Also, Rutna's going to start casting Prayer of Healing
Okay.
because everyone needs a heal after that.
Yeah, the ogre uses his action to dash, gets another 80 feet away. It's like 110 feet off the battlefield.
I don't think we're chasing it.
Yeah, does anyone feel like intent on doing some murder?
You said it's 110 feet away from us?
Well, off the battlefield. So from you, it's 170 feet currently.
Voice
geez,
Tech
I
could
could-
almost catch up, but
I absolutely could. I could use one of my Misty Steps that are stored in my thing. One of the last 2 Misty Steps in there. I could get 60 feet, and then I could just Eldritch Blast it if I wanted to.
Do you?
You know what? Sure, why not?
I'm
Okay.
somewhat upset at that roll.
Sybil needs some more things to dream about.
As she looks back, she's like, actually, you know what? I'll be right back, and she'll take off running towards the cliff, bamf up, and then get about right here, and I'm just gonna Eldritch Blast it twice more.
Okay. It
Target
has
practice.
it has 3 hit points left, so 1 hit'll do it. Oh yeah, that hits. Nice.
15 damage.
Yeah, you put it down. It just sort of falls with a big thud into like the wet grass.
This time, Sybil carefully gets down the cliff and returns back to the group.
And everyone gets 8 hit points back after 10 minutes.
Cool. Also, because I'm just one sec. I need to make a dex save because it's raining and the cliff is like slick. It's like it's a thunderstorm. So
Yeah, no, fair enough.
all right.
I built the narrative that she's a klutz, so might as well stick with it. All
No,
set.
Yeah, but you take some time and get a little lucky and get down for fun.
She's feeling inspired because of the displays of monkliness that she has seen in the last few minutes.
Beautiful. Okay, so
Yeah, and
the
then
thunderstorm.
No.
Indeed, the thunderstorm's still pelting down around you. Your foes have been slain and driven off.
Oh, I actually have something for this. I am going to ritual cast Odaluk's. What is it? Odaluk's. I don't have it in the thing, but it's one of the. It's the ritual that you.
The resilience sphere?
No, I'm not an overpower. It's the tiny hut. I think it's Odaluk's.
Oh, little Liam's tiny
Yeah,
hut.
yeah, that's it. Tiny hut. It was.
Okay.
It was
Yeah,
the ritual.
wrong
that
wizard.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of wizards. Yeah, because
Yeah,
you had
that's
told me that I could have added a ritual into my book, right? Outside of the normals ones that I would have read about in the time. at the
Sure.
beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna cast that around us as like he's casting that, so we can just kind of, dry off.
Cool. So what's there's like some stipulations on like the color and stuff, isn't it? I'm like-
let me. You said you have the book, right? It should be in here.
Yeah, you can just type little Liam and it'll show up.
Yeah, that's why I didn't add it, is because I did not want to
Yeah.
type all that
type it
in.
all out. Yeah.
so this whole thing takes 10 minutes. And while, the casters are setting those up, Wojtek is gonna get up, after his laughing fit, and he's gonna walk over and, he's gonna bend over the corpses and start, muttering under his breath. And then after a few moments with each, he's gonna get back and come back to the party. And he's going to say, "Privyet, comrades of the hunt. It was an excellent fight. Thank you for backing me up."
Right.
What brings you out in these parts? And I'm Jerry. This is Sybil and Rachna. Who might we have the pleasure of meeting in such an exciting way?
He's going to stand up tall, stand up straight, puff out his chest, and say, "You are in the company of Wojtek, Great Bear of the North. I come down here to fight beasts such as these."
So well, you succeeded at finding them. It looked like you were doing just fine fighting them before we got here too, though I'm sure it didn't hurt to have some help.
Ah, it is always good to have brothers on the hunt. Not that I need your help, of course, but... And as things kind of... Because the hut kind of provides like a light kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I've got it here. It won't let me drag and drop it into the my character sheet, weirdly enough, but
Oh, interesting. Okay.
all of it's creatures and objects within the dome. When you cast the spell, can move through it freely. All of the creatures and objects are barred from passing through it. Spells and other magical effects can't extend through the dome or be cast through it. The atmosphere inside of the space is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather outside. Until the spell ends, you can command the interior to become dimly lit or dark. The dome is opaque from the outside of any color you choose, but it is transparent from the inside.
Okay, so assuming you're choosing to have it be lit.
Yeah.
It's
lit.
As it lights up, you see I'll describe myself. He's a kind of leaner build, about about 5'9"-ish. He is oh no, where did it go? Oh heavens.
What is happening?
Roll20 just reboot for anyone else?
Yeah, it's
Yep.
me too.
Oh,
Me too.
okay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
So I was in the settings, checking stuff, and I decided to kick Bad Neighbor from the game because he hasn't been here in months.
Oh, I see.
So I guess that reboot everything. Sorry.
Yeah. I think I need to relog because I can't see the chat or anything.
Oops. I broke everything.
No. But yeah, so fair-skinned, just wild, like dripping hair, and he is wearing a half pelt or a half cloak pelt off of one shoulder. Like it extends down, but like it's only a one-shouldered cloak. And on his the other side of his chest that's uncovered, you can see I'm not sure if you've ever seen a lightning scar.
Yes, I know. Well, I know what they look like. Like trees almost.
Yeah, like lightning flowers, just that scarification all down his like torso, all like down his chest and stuff. And he has these they're almost like segmented finger coverings that look like bone, that come to points on his fingertips. But yeah, completely bare-chested.
20-foot radius. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sybil, while casting this spell, she would have been like reading it very intently into her. Would it be her journal that she's reading her notes from, Aaron, or would it be the book that she received?
Could be either.
Wojtek has that
Okay.
put on his front.
Yeah, that's a mechanics question that I actually have to ask you. So, out of game, is the book that was given to her the Book of Shadows, or is
Right, because you took the Book of Shadows, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be my journal. I asked about reskinning it and everything, so that was only
Right. Yeah. So I think you could use either or both.
Okay.
To be your
It'll probably be
shadows.
both.
Yeah, that's fine.
More or less, depending on the situation. But whereas she had written this spell down before, or at least in her journal, she would have been mumbling and just like drawing small things in the dirt, pulling things out of her bag that she needs, and she probably hadn't been paying attention for a minute. And finally, whenever you guys watch a flash of light as this hut, or this tiny, like, or say tiny, it's a 20-foot sphere, but or a 20-foot radius sphere, so it's like 40-foot wide. So as you watch this thing kind of emanate, she's like, "Ah, I did it. Okay, good." And she'll look up. She's like, "Oh, hello."
Wojtek will will put his hand on L's head and say, "You did well, Malishka. Much, you have the makings of a great warrioress."
Malishka? Right. Well, thank you. My name's Sybil, though. Malishka? No?
It means small girl back from motherlands.
Oh. Yeah. Well, thank you. You were quite impressive yourself. I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting one person to be able to fight all them, but when we arrived, you seemed pretty enthralled with the battle and rather capable.
It was no concern. It is this kind of thrill why I am out this far in the south.
It was definitely a thrill. Your hair's kind of. And she snaps her finger and casts prestidigitation, and your hair dries because you look around and you realize that like she's been doing it to like bits and pieces of her clothing as the ritual's been going. She's just kind of like snap, and like Rachna's like armor will tidy up. It's just moments where it's just like every time she sees something, it's just snap, and it's like so. It's just one of those things. It's like, yeah, no, I can help you with that. You might get cold and sick, so and then like almost like an instantaneous blow dryer, your hair just kind of goes and dries.
He looks taken aback for a second, and you can see like his like muscles flex, like he's ready to like put up his fists, and then be like he'll put up a hand to his hair and like shake like his hand through his hair violently, like not doing it any favors for its tidiness, and being like, "Thank you, Malishka."
You're welcome. And I imagine the like almost like the almost reactionary like aggressiveness kind of caught her off guard for a second because she thought she was just helping. So, but then it's like, and then once she realizes like, oh, there's no threat, we're good. So besides fighting giants and ogres, what are you doing here?
He gives you just like the kind of blank expression, and just like, "I do not understand. That is the point."
Oh. Right. And she'll just kind of like look helplessly at Jerry and Rachna like, I've taken this conversation as far as I can. Help.
He'll look around and he'll look around and kind of like look each of you in the eyes, kind like almost uncomfortably long, and then give like a satisfied nod and be like, "Excellent. What are my comrades doing here? Why? What is your purpose?"
Is anyone going to speak up before?
I was about to. We're actually traveling to a nearby town to rid it of some evil guy that's taken it over, and well, frankly, we're about to go on a hero's journey, and it's kind of exciting.
Excellent. I judged you all correctly. Then I will join you.
Okay, great.
Jerry will just say, well, just a couple questions first, if you don't mind, Vojtek.
Well, to be fair, you guys walked into my store. I asked you how I could help you, and then you guys got my store shut up, and that's how I met you. So this seems about par for the course, right?
Rhonda will nod.
You people shut up this poor girl's store. Why would you do that?
Oh, they didn't. It was a bunch of snake people that were coming after them for some reason or another.
Snake people! Oh, are these what we are going to fight?
Hopefully not. I think we're supposed to be fighting, like, I don't know, there was mention of, I don't know. What are we supposed to be fighting? And she'll just
We're
she's
going to
very
fight
enamored.
Bishop.
When you say hopefully not, Wojtek gives you like a quizzical look. It's like, what do you mean not?
We're going to fight a bishop.
That does not sound particularly a difficult fight. Perhaps I was wrong? You are not of the hunt?
Sometimes, sometimes monsters don't take the form of monstrosities. Sometimes they're in human form.
Oh yes, shapeshifters. I tore one's arm off once. It turned back. It was quite disgusting.
Jerry will just look over him like trying to figure out if he's joking or not, and then just say like, no, I'm saying that sometimes there's people that are so horrible that they are as bad as monsters.
Oh, well, people's arms come off just as easy.
And
Run the nuts.
Jerry will just look over at Sybil and Rachna and say, sometimes, sometimes. So he'll look at Wojtek and he'll say, well, I mean, if you're looking for a true adventure, I mean, we've seen some stuff over the last few weeks, and I mean, I can't lie, we could use your help, but I mean, we don't know anything about you.
Wojtek will grab Jerry by the shoulders and say, "It's okay. In what case, allow Wojtek to tell a story."
Wait, and she'll pull out her journal and just like open it up and kind of like do that thing where she taps her the tip of her pen on her tongue and just sits there very prepared to take notes.
Wojtek will say, "It was many years ago. I come from up north, in the great motherland of Brevoy. I was monk for several years, took peace of mind to heart, but I was out one day meditating, trying to achieve true peace of mind, when I was struck by bolt of lightning." And he'll like pat his chest and like probably a bit harder than you were expecting. He's like, and he'll say, "It was then when I was approached by God, I can't do proper nouns tonight to save my life. When I was approached by
Rob.
Prios himself, and he said, 'My child, your soul has been marked for battle, and so you must go do.' And so I have."
And Jerry's going to use his ear for deceit, one of his new traits. And he's just going to be listening and studying him carefully to see whether he is, whether he's sort of being straight up.
Yeah, you think that no one has told more of the truth than this guy.
And Jerry's definitely gonna sort of turn the corner, and he'll put out his hand and see if Wojtek takes it.
He will do he'll reach out and do the Roman arm grab thing.
It is the barbarian. Hello.
Nice. Jerry would vigorously shake his forearm, and then Jerry would say, "We'll have to spar sometime on the roads. I think it'd be good practice for both of us. I see a very different style between the two of us."
Yes. I have tried to do the leap and break neck maneuver before, but never with swords. It is an interesting take.
And yeah, that would be. I don't think Jerry would have anything else particularly to say. He would just be sort of cleaning up his stuff. He would go to get the donkeys, and offer some rations to everybody if anybody wanted any.
Then Rachna is going to speak up. So, you follow Prios.
Prios smiles on my deeds, let us say. I follow him to the degree that he gives me that he gives me the power to defeat my foes.
Because we're on our way to kill a bishop of Prios.
What did this bishop do, per se?
Rachna is going to take off his helmet.
I thought he was a bishop. Oh, he's a bishop of Prios who claims to be related to the bishop or to the saint of Saint. Okay, gotcha. It's in my notes. I'm sorry. I was just about to ask.
He welded my horns over with iron. And that's just personally. Right now he has taken over an abbey and seems to be doing something demonic.
This abbey, they are good people? Warriors?
I'm going to gesture to Jerry.
And Jerry will just say, it's the best people. Best people I ever met in my life are there.
Is this a is this a fair fight? Would it is this a fight for glory or territory or what?
Judging from the stories we've heard on the man, it seems like a fight for personal gain, and also it became personal to our group when he targeted, well, his home, and she'll kind of like gesture over it to Jerry, and then we were already going to head there, and then come to find out it's even more personal, and she'll again gesture over at Rachna. I don't really have a dog in this fight outside of I want to help them.
Wojtek will sit in silence for a couple seconds, kind of nodding and thinking, and he says, I will go and see this man for myself. I will accompany you, if you will have me on the hunt. I have heard that there are other creatures around Mount Agnew that I would like to test my mettle against.
Rachna will put his helmet back on and nod.
Right. Just remind me not to jump on top of the next thing we run into, please.
Wojtek will once again look a little confused and be like, why, that was excellent.
Oh, well, thank you, but see, my specialty is being nowhere near the thing that's going to hit really hard. I do better at range.
Wojtek will shrug and be like, to each their own. I prefer to feel their flesh under my bare fists.
Right, and she'll kind of like lift her arm up, and it is and you kind of realize that she's pretty thin. I can break easily. So I stay back, and I break other things.
It's Jerry will just pipe in and say, it's a note to put in your log, right, Sybil?
Right. No, you're right. And she'll just kind of shrug like, I don't know what's going on. I'm just winging it. I mean,
Cool. So you have this meeting of Wojtek inside of Sybil's tiny hut. Indeed, new party member.
I mean, we don't have to stay here for super long. It lasts 8 hours, but it's a ritual spell, so it doesn't really.
Mm-hmm. You pack up, I assume, and return to the wagon.
Yep.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, and we probably have to clear the way. Or is it
Indeed.
easy around?
Yeah, you could definitely trek through the grass around the blocked road.
Yeah, which would be easier?
It'd probably be easier to go around, to be honest.
Okay.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt with such a menial thing again, but the material component of Lehman's tiny hut is a small crystal bead. It does not say it consumes it, so I assume that you can keep reusing it.
Yep. If it doesn't say it consumes it, just if there's a gold cost to it, just deduct the gold as if you had bought it, and then.
There is not. It's just one of those things.
Okay.
Because if that's the case, I wanted to make a flavor with it because she has this weird she has all the bells on her wrist too. So I'm just gonna add another thing onto that.
Cool. Very good. Very good. So I think, as the sort of day wears us on, the thunderstorm continues to crackle and rage above you, but you find a nice little place off the side of the road in a copse of trees, perhaps at the end of the day, to pull the wagon over and to have a resto.
Yeah, and with the bad weather, Sybil absolutely would offer everyone a place under the back patio kind of thing. It might be a bit of a tight squeeze, but it's dry.
Mm-hmm.
She's not letting people into the thing, by the way. I'm just
Okay. Cool. So everyone can expend a ration, and yeah, that's all we need to do. Expend rations. At the end of the day, if you want to heal any of your wounds, you can expend hit dice at the end of the rest. So the order is you would get half your hit dice back, but you've not spent any, so no big, and then you can roll any hit dice to regain hit points.
I am just going to use one of the 4 potions of healings that I've had since the beginning of Sybil's existence. So
Okay.
to try to get back up.
You've had since birth.
I'm gonna use a hit dice.
Cool.
So how do I do that?
I believe that if you just click on the hit dice on your character sheet, it'll roll it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so you spend a hit dice, get 8 hit points back.
I only needed 3, but okay.
See what the weather is like tomorrow.
And just like that, I am back up to full health and didn't waste one of my 4 hit dice because I still have.
Oh, I started mashing the hit dice button when I didn't think it was working. So now I'm hitting the cancel button about 30 times. Okay, it finally went away. All right.
I want to spend all the hit dice.
If you start spending negative hit dice, you actually lose that many years in your life.
Oh, wow.
Cool, let me check stuff, all right? Nothing accosts you during the night, so that is good for you. And you wake up the next morning. No scary dreams tonight, Sybil.
All right. I just this flavor thing as like
Mhm.
she's in the evening. She doesn't get a lot of sleep, probably like 3 or 4 hours, but the rest of the time she's spent reading the book.
Okay. Yeah, there's just a lot of crazy stuff. You try to read some of the spells, and it just like hurts your brain to try to comprehend them.
And how vivid is the dream? Do I remember it well even 24 hours later?
Yeah, it's like it really happened.
Okay. And there was all right. Okay.
Mhm.
At some point during the night, then, I'm going to cast the Find Familiar ritual. Actually, no, I couldn't because I technically wouldn't have bought the components.
Oh yeah. What you need? Do you need like 10 gold worth of like incense or something?
I think it's 10 GP worth of charcoal, incense, and yeah,
Okay.
herbs.
You think you could probably pick that stuff up at the Abbey tomorrow?
Okay.
Alright. If no one else wants to do anything during the evening, going once,
Nope.
going twice. Okay. Beautiful. You wake up the next morning to find the storm's passed. It's bright and sunny, kind of hot again today, middle of the summer. Makes sense. And with the clouds and the storm past, you can see rising up out of the distance. You see Mount Agno. This sort of like big pinnacle in the middle of the duchy. You see snow-capped tops up at the very top of it, rising majestically up over the surrounding landscape. Jerry, you peer up and you see, like, oh yes, I think it's maybe on that peak where the Abbey sits, but you can't see it clearly from where you are.
Cool.
I just want to stare at this nice looking painting for like the rest of the session.
Yeah, it's super nice, right?
Such a beautiful landscape.
I know, right?
I'm gonna cry.
Cool. Let me see. All right. Okay. Everyone, make me travel checks. DC 6 today. 5 for those with heat-resistant options.
I should also point out, just so people don't think Symbol's a jerk. There's a reason why she's not inviting people into her already cramped. Like it's packed full of books and has a tiny bunk bed in the top. Also, she would have absolutely cast the hut again outside for you guys.
Okay.
Because I was sitting here thinking, I was like, it's so rude. That seems so rude.
That's fair.
Jerry still isn't in a mindset where he expects to be treated like a noble, so you're good.
Okay, beautiful.
Wojtek isn't
Yeah.
used to sleeping with shelter.
Ragna is also barely used to sleeping with shelter.
Cool. You very easy traveling today, still on a main road. You pass by a few merchant caravans. You see a train of wagons going by, laden, coming away from the Abbey of St. Raja with a bunch of wine casks piled up. The people on the caravan are like, singing songs and like playing instruments as they go by. They're obviously very happy about their acquisition. But other than that, the day is like fairly peaceful, fairly calm as you trundle and make your way towards the Abby. Is there anything anyone wants to say or do during the day?
What is Votek? Wait, how do you say that?
Wojtek.
Wojtek. What is Wojtek doing on the road? Like, is he just like? I imagine he's like either power walking or jogging the entire time.
Yeah, a little bit. He might spend a little bit of time like chilling on the cart to, like get off his feet for part of the day, but yeah, like he's definitely used to being on his feet most of the day. But yeah, like every time we every time we take a break, he's either off or he's probably just like, lounging around on like a stump or a log or something like that, or perhaps off looking for something to kind of checking around to see if anything is around to test his skills on. He will probably be doing like perimeter checks around the camp anytime we stop for like a lunch break or something like that.
Is it too late to have second guesses about the guy who wants to fight everything in our party? No. It's just that's fine.
Cool. It comes to about evening, and you are, Jerry, you know that you're very close to getting to the app. But you sort of turn a corner in the road past like a hill and a little copse of trees, and you see a group of what look like ragged priests, sort of like wide-eyed, coming down the road opposite you. There are 6 of them, even split between men and women, and they seem haggard, and they're kind of like jogging and looking behind them with some degree of fear.
And so Jerry spots him first.
Sure.
So I think Jerry would just run up and say, "Hell, friends, what's the matter?"
The woman in the front, you can see she's in like priestly vestments. She wears a symbol of Prios and a symbol of Saint Raja as well. And she says, "Oh, there are monsters from the mountains. We were out on our daily gatherings from the vineyards, but they came without warning. Horrid flying beasts with claws and the faces of men."
And can the rest of the party hear this as well?
Oh yeah.
Jerry will look straight at Wojtek and say, "Is this anything you know about?"
He'll crack a grin and be like, "This is something Wojtek would like to know more about."
Would any of us have ever heard of anything like that?
Anybody who wants to know can make a nature check.
Can I make a religion check?
These are not that would not help you.
Okay.
In the knowing of these things.
12.
There's a 22.
Yeah, 22 definitely. Sybil, that description sounds like manticores.
Manticores? Or at least that's what it sounds like. Have you guys ever dealt with one?
Jerry will just shake his head like he has no idea what that is.
No, but we're about to.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, the priests say that. Oh, well, I think we are largely safe for now. The beast flew down and they grabbed, and she sort of looks and they grabbed Vincent, brother Vincent. They have flown back to their mountain roosts, but it is getting so dangerous these days. For the creatures from the mountains, something has disturbed them. They are so much more violent in recent days.
Really, I thought I'd heard that attacks had been less frequent around here.
Oh, for a long time, for many years, the mountain, well, the areas around the mountain were largely safe. But only we have giant men come down. We have seen these horrible manticore creatures. It is no longer safe to be outside of the abbey. We cannot tend the orchards. We flee now for our lives.
So that's Sybil kind of standing behind everyone. I will kind of look around at the rest of the party. So we're gonna go help them, right?
These creatures think they can pick on the small folk. I will show them that they are the small folk.
Rotten will nod.
And Jerry will just say, can you tell us where these creatures came from? Like what direction? Just the mountains, or you have anything more specific?
Yeah, they just sort of shrug, right? Like, they just sort of say, like, we do not know. It is the reclusive priests of Saint Boron would know the mountain better than us. We were in the orchards tending to our vineyards when these horrible creatures they fly down from the sky. We assume they come from the mountains. Jerry, with that insight, you think that these people are just like scared and monsters attacked them and they really don't know. And
Jerry will just say, well, be safe. I guess both of us should be moving.
They sort of look, and there's a man behind them and says, "Please, would you have any supplies, anything to help us folk of the cloth? We are trying to get to Lodz. We hope it will be safe there."
Jerry would give them one of the donkeys and half the rations, and yeah, so that he'd give away some of his stuff.
Okay.
Wait, did you buy more than donkey? More than one donkey?
Did you buy more than one donkey?
I thought I bought 2 donkeys.
Okay, take an extra 8 gold off then. Okay. I only charged you
Okay.
for 1 donkey.
This is important accounting.
I mean, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I thought for a second that that Jerry was trying to either A, call into my Clydesdales a donkey and try to give my horse away, or B, was giving his own his own donkey away. I was like,
I would like to keep one of the donkeys, but I will give them a half the rations, so 30 rations.
Oof. Okay. They seem like super. Well, there's six of them. They can make like a
Actually,
3-day
you did charge
journey
him
to
both
Lodz.
donkeys.
The 2 8s. The 8 was something else. It was like the next thing on his
Okay.
list.
But yeah, he definitely
Yeah.
said 2 donkeys.
Okay.
I can do something. Like, you said they were pretty ragged looking, right?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't looks like they're not carrying anything, and you can see that some of their clothes are torn, and they have claw wounds.
Okay, so Sybil will. It's small, but I can mend some of the cloths and cloaks. It might rain again, and better to stay dry and warm than than get sick. You know.
Uh, yeah, they thank you profusely for anything that you can do for them.
And I will use Prayer of Healing to heal them.
Ooh, okay. They accept your divine energy, and they look much more hardy and like ready for the road, and they gratefully accept the donkey and the mended clothes and the food. The lady who was leading them, she says, "Oh dear, blessings of Prios, blessings of Saint Raja upon you," and she effectively grants you all inspiration with her blessings.
I already have inspiration.
Ma'am, what's your name so that when we come back through, we'll be able to check in on you?
I am Sister Lizette. Put it in the chat.
I assume it's double E. Yeah. Oh, it's Lisette. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Okay. I was just Sister Lisette. You said you're headed towards Lodz, right?
Yes, we have some relatives there.
All right. We'll be sure to stop in on our way back. We are bound back for Valdore in a matter, hopefully soon. So we'll pretty much pass right past there. It won't hurt a detour or two.
And rest assured, Sister Lisette, these lands, they will soon be safe for you once more.
She sort of looks you up and down, Wojtek, taking in the presence of you. She sort of it's like, oh my god, thanks, I guess. Mr. like scary wild man.
Right, no one nod.
Jerry, do you voice that question?
No, I think Jerry would let it be. I think I was just more curious out of character than in character.
Okay.
So, I was just gonna say, like, if we're about to part ways, Sybil will kind of lean over. I assume Jerry's walking either walking next to or sitting next to the cart, or on the cart, right?
Walking next to the cart, yeah.
Jerry, do you mind taking over real quick? I have to go grab something out of the back of the cart.
Yeah, Jerry will just tie off the reins of the donkey to something on the cart, and then I'll hop up and start driving.
Okay, so Sybil will hop down and kind of start walking back towards the cart, and if no one's really like paying attention, she's going to kind of lag back and just kind of yell out for Sister Lisette as we were leaving, assuming we're leaving.
I assume that to be true. Sister Lisette will turn around and look at you.
May I speak with you? It's just a minor matter. But you are a woman of the cloth, and I might need a little guidance currently.
And she looks at you, and seeing all you have done for her, she says, "Of course, my child. Priest of Saint Raja would leave no soul unattended." And she moves back to you.
I just ask that I don't know how to. So I had a really very vivid dream a few nights ago. One that, I've had night terrors, I've had nightmares. This was more. even 2 days later, it's still burning in my mind, and it was so vivid, and something doesn't feel right.
She looks at you kind of gravely, and she says, she puts like a one hand on her holy symbol and the other gently on your shoulder, and she says, "My child, please, speak of these demons of your mind."
I don't. While I remembered the dream, there's not a lot to tell. So, I was well, for lack of a better term, I was in my room and reading, as I want to do, and suddenly there was fire, and then there was helplessness, and then I broke through out of my room and fell into a iced landscape of and she just kind of like shivers just thinking about it.
Give me a quick perception check, Sybil.
I'm not good at these. Nope, not good at it.
Okay, so Sybil doesn't see, but we, the audience, we see. I imagine Sybil's sort of like staring down as she's telling the story.
Yeah, she's not super proud of like what she's saying either. She thinks she's gonna think she's crazy or something.
And we, the audience, see Sister Lizette's face is just like getting more and more aghast, and like as you start talking about like being consumed by fire and like a icy frozen like abysscape, she's just like, "Whoa, this kid's crazy."
Okay, so she doesn't think I'm crazy. Gotcha.
But like, so as you're saying this, that's like what her expression is. But then like she sort of like remembers her priestly training and tries to like muster some like goodness to give to you, and you can sort of see that. And we, the audience, see she's grasping her holy symbol, and like her knuckles are turning white as she like is gripping it so tight. And maybe, Sybil, you feel her like hand tighten just a bit on your shoulder, and she sort of like lowers herself to a little bit to look you in the eyes, and she says, "Despite what demons and devils may plague your dreams, my child, know that the Lord Prios, keeper of the silver fire, father to us all, shall be with you in these times. You must merely open your heart to the warmth of his silver fire and let it fill you with his holy radiance. If you are truly open to his will, these dreams will stop. This I know."
Silver fire?
Yeah, you know that that's what they call Prios, keeper of the silver fire.
Well, this is funny. I did not know that out of character, and Sybil's flames have been like described as silver and like monochromatic.
This is true.
And she just kind of sits there for a second. Huh. You know what? Maybe you're right. I absolutely should. Thank you. You've done much more for me than I think even you know. And she'll smile and just kind of be like, "Thank you. I promise we'll stop in on our way back, but my caravan's leaving me, and they're probably a lot further than they were a second ago." And she turns around and it just kind of takes off.
Okay, cool. So Sybil takes off, but we see, the audience again, we see Sister Lizette. She smiles and like waves as you leave, but once you are sort of gone from her sight, her face grows grave, and she turns back to her priestly companions, And she whispers, she says, "There is much darkness about that girl." And she just mutters like, "Prios, save her soul." And I think that's a good time for us to stop for the night.
Oh, I didn't mean to steal the final scene.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah, that's okay.
No, that's cool.
I think it's a good place to end, and like a good.
It was wonderful. Okay, so out of character, I think I know who my patron is. In character, I think Sybil might think that Prios is her patron.
I know, right? That's really funny how that kind of worked out. Out of character, who are you guessing as
Mephistopheles?
certainly an educated guess?
Yes, especially since I was rereading. I've read through pretty much the entirety of Mordenkainen's list in a week ago, and then I was like, I wonder if it is. So I opened it up, and literally the first page I opened through, I was like, yeah, it's this. As soon as you, as soon as you corrected it 3 times, and you finally settled on the ice scape, I was like, I know where this is. It was one of 2 places. And I just, upon reading, I was like, oh yeah, it'd make much more sense for Mephistopheles than Levistus.
Yeah, Infernal Pact warlock who is obsessed with gaining magical knowledge, transported to an abyssal plane of like internal ice. Yeah.
I mean, none of this was meta because none of this, like, Mordenkainen's hadn't come out at all when I wrote her backstory at all. So it was just
totally. Yeah, I thought it fit well, but I also love that like the happenstances in character. Sybil maybe thinks that like, oh, am I blessed by Prios? Is this how this is working?
Well, she also like said like the warmth, what I was like, all right.
Yeah.
She's also really trying to avoid the whole like, I may have made a pact with a demon. I'm not gonna look into this.
That is awesome that Sybil thinks it's with like a kindly good deity.
Good boy.
And that was some top-notch religious mumbo jumbo. I really like that, Aaron. That was good.
Oh, thanks.
I was gonna say sign me up, but I didn't want to ruin the moment.
Oh god, it's just one of those things. It's like I was very tempted to make Sybil one of the like an educated agnostic, but then I was like, oh, she's grown up in the city of Valdoria. It's really hard to be like, I don't believe in God when you're going to a college that basically is ran by people that run the church. So
right, yeah. And like I just speaking as like a total like world perspective thing, clerics like Rachna with that kind of power are super rare. So I think that it's totally believable that like someone could be agnostic, except for these like, extremely rare sort of like blessed people.
It's going to be fun to see that play out especially because Wojtek is very thoroughly convinced that Prios appeared to him personally.
Right, and like that's why I think it's cool because you can have these characters who actually have faith as opposed to like knowing for sure, oh yes, Pelor exists and he lets me blast stuff with holy fire.
Right.
Also, a reason why she did not approach Rachna about this is, well, for one, Rachna kind of scared her, and for 2, she's more worried about, like, she's like, oh well, if I revealed something to this woman that I don't want revealed, we just don't have to go there, or I can just avoid it. But with the traveling party, that she is very intent on helping you guys through all this. She doesn't want that to be there, and because she's not dumb, she has a sense of like, all right, I didn't just magically wake up with these powers. I mean, I did, but I didn't like. They didn't just magically awaken in me. They came from somewhere. And she's not sure where, but she has an inkling. She's like, I have an imp companion. This probably not a good thing.
Yeah.
But
We have skulls in our helmets. Are we the bad guys?
You're doing the right thing, and you wake up as a stormtrooper, and you're like, oh no.
Nice.
Cool, guys. I am melting, so I'm gonna go try to not die here.
So yeah.
All right.
See ya.
Thanks for the session. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah, thanks.
Totally.
Thanks for running, Aaron. It was awesome.
No worries. Thanks for
guys.
playing. Bye.
Bye.
And thank you guys for tuning into the stream. I hope you enjoyed it. Wojtek is going to be a blast to play, and we're going to see where it goes. Have a good night, guys. Drink some water, get up, stretch, and get some sleep.